Hello, everybody, and welcome to Three Gorillas Entertainment. Thank you for watching. This is the second installment of the Anime Fate series that I'm doing, uh, and I'm here with three really cool players, and we're playing in the Fullmetal Alchemist world. So they're going to be doing a secret mission for the government. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick, and then we'll get started. Yeah, let's start with Nathan, and we'll move on to my left.
All right. So yeah, I'm Nathan. Happy to be back playing with well, actually everybody. This is second time playing with Alexander. Second time playing with Melissa. I'm not going to count how many times I've played with Sam. So we're just gonna. Anyway, I'm playing the professor. I'm a soulbound archaeologist. Got caught in the middle of something he shouldn't have been at. So anyway, I'm kind of the man with all the resources. Let's put it that way. That's probably not the best. I know people. I have money at my disposal, and I've got a big head on my shoulders. So,
Melissa.
Hello there, I am Melissa. I am a frequenter of Sam's games, and I love playing feet, and I can't wait for this to start!
All right. I'm Alexander. I am playing Kiyoshi Masato, who is a ninja alchemist from Jing. And yeah, he is very generic looking. It's very important.
don't want to overdo that.
All right. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, it has been only a scant 4 weeks since the assault on Central City. The countryside and all of Amestris really are still suffering for it, but the rebuilding process has been going steadily. But this is a story that's focusing on just a few people in this chaos that's going on. And with this, we zoom in to a small building several miles outside of Central City, almost out in the boonies. Inside, there is a large statue-like creature. Why don't you describe what you look like and what you're doing inside this government facility, Professor?
So, is this before or after the conversation I had with the government rep?
After.
After?
You're waiting. Yeah, you're waiting to meet up.
Yeah. So the professor in his new form, apparently. Anyway, he's a very blocky, very large, massive stone. Anyway, he just got done with a conversation with the government rep trying to requisition some, he's been informed that we're hunting anomalies on the border. We're trying to prevent some additional civil unrest. So, and he was told he needed to bring two additional people, and so he of course submitted names and descriptions of the individuals that he wanted, and the representative kind of gave him this look and like shook his head and like no, and the professor with his very quick like wit actually repeated word for word the government rep's own words about the type of people and things that he needed. I'm like, these fit the bill, and he was like, okay, so he walks away. So currently that's where the professor's at. He's waiting on, hopefully this is where we need to meet him. Otherwise, he may have to go out and find the shadow.
Okay, so Alexander, why don't you describe how you enter this building and meet up with him?
All right. Well, Kyoshi is he just walks in really casually. He's got shortish, kind of medium, darkish hair. It's very dark brown or possibly black. He looks vaguely like he's from Xing, but he might not be. He's got a medium build, medium height, and there's nothing distinguishing about him at all. And that is exactly what the professor expects when he just walks up behind him and taps him on the shoulder, and then taps a little harder.
Like,
Pushes it gently.
he like tries to push him. This big stone like kind of sways a little bit. It's good to meet you on like terms. Last time wasn't so friendly.
Well, this time you're paying me.
Oh, exactly. Yes. The pay is quite well. And as you can see, I should be able to handle some of the older shenanigans you had now that I'm in my new form. And he taps himself on the chest, and you could hear the stone like scraping and banging on each other and stuff.
Yes, I have not invented a poison for your type yet, but I'll figure it out.
No, I'm sure you will. I said, well, what I'm paying you, you should be able to come up with it after we get done with this. So do let me know so that I can prepare myself.
I don't think so. When I figure it out, you'll be the first to know, but not because I told you.
Fair enough.
At this point, you guys start hearing the sounds of horses and the sound of something extremely heavy being dragged. Like as if they were dragging another block of stone. And when you turn to look outside, you see a good 4 horses dragging something covered definitely in a tarp. A raggedy tarp, as it seems to be tearing, but a tarp nonetheless. And they enter into your area just barely as the horses take a bit of room. And as they enter and exit, they have 2 horses just about the exit, and one of them hops off from the back and goes, "As you requested," and unhooks the chain from the back and pulls the tarp off. And there, with nothing but chains wrapped around it, chains going crisscross each way with the muzzle, and all the arms and hands and legs crossed together, is this black raven-winged creature with tons of arms, tons of feathers, with a muzzle.
So the professor taps the shadow. He's like, "Hey, let me introduce you to Chimera here. This is Soraka."
Oh, I see.
And
That's what that thing is.
yeah, just stay away from her face there, her beak there. Yeah, that could be real nasty.
I'm here to inform you that beaks do not have teeth. That is not a beak.
On this creature, yes, they do. He starts going through and pulling the links of chain and
Actually,
undoing the whole thing.
The second you start to do that, one of the privates, kind of like it goes up to like, are you sure you want to do that? Wouldn't it be safer just to transport her like this?
He points to the tarp. I said, that isn't going to cover much. And those horses are breaking a mighty nasty sweat. So unless you got replacement horses for me and a better covering for her, we'll just take her as she is.
Okay. And he kind of like, he salutes us like, well, if that's the case, you have a nice day. And then they both kind of leave to take their posts outside of the room that you guys are in.
And then the professor completely expects this. He's just like, he didn't request these specific individuals because they look pretty and they were appealing to anybody. It's like, because they'll get the job done. So it's like he's feeding chain back to to the shadow. And he's like, here, let's, running it through all the rings that are all, attached to her arms and everything. And by the time we get done, there's a big nest of chain links and whatnot. And he's like, well, the government needs you, and apparently the country needs you both. And we need to get moving.
As you unwrap her fully, it gets to the point when all the chains go off of her. She immediately latches onto your shoulders, pushes you down, and holds you down with a bunch of the arms she has. The muzzle is the only thing keeping you from being killed, and she just smells you with great nostrils. Just smells you, and you see a mashing of her beak, knowing that she can't get at you, but then she backs off.
Now, play nice. So her arms pretty much the covering for the rest of her body then, or is she just covered in feathers or what?
She's mostly feathers. Along her wings are actually more arms.
Right.
Where there are feathers, some of it is replaced with arms. At the back base of her wings, there's hands, one hand each.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, she has a slightly elongated neck, a flat face, and a Pidgeotto haircut.
So, well, ma'am, you're pretty much everything my research has told me that you are. Good to finally meet you in person. And he toys with the idea. He says it'd be real interesting to see how long it would take you to eat a man of stone. But we'll leave that for a later time. So Sam, is there another exit out of here other than going back through where the two guards are? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's the front door that they came in through, well, the big gate where they dragged them then, and you can go through the it's kind of like an outpost. So it's like you're kind of like in the big office area, and behind you is just mainly courtyard, and then after that it's just open field. So it's not a huge government facility.
All right. Sounds good. So yeah, the professor is professor nods in the direction of the shadow. He's like, why don't you go ahead and take point? And he gives him directions of the location that we're supposed to be going in. And he said, I'll be here with myself and Soraka here. We'll be pulling up the rear. If you come across anything, I'm sure you'll let me know.
Absolutely. And then Kyoshi walks into a group of people and is completely gone.
So how are you guys planning to travel around, considering the type of people you are?
The professor's going to try to draw as much attention to himself as possible. That way they don't notice Soraka here. You had a tarp. You were in the process of shredding that thing.
We can get more tarps.
I'm sure we can requisition more tarps. I just so I'm going to actually I wasn't fully certain on Melissa's character details, but before we leave, I requisition I actually take the chain that she was bound in, and I try to make a kind of a drape for her that would hide her, at least her face somewhat, and she could pull her arms and stuff underneath it, and we'll attempt to leave under that fashion. Hopefully between her natural dark feathers and stuff and the chain, it'll be enough to kind of throw off anybody who decides to get close.
Check.
And seeing what you're attempting to do, Yoshi just uses alchemy to do it better.
That's all right.
Builds basically
That's
a harness that goes around, the inner part of her wings so that it doesn't get in her way or anything, but a harness goes around that then Tarp can be draped over.
okay. That works.
So yeah, between Soraka's natural ability to conceal herself, mixed with the harness and the tarp that are made for, Soraka just basically looks like maybe like a leopard trying to cover himself.
Great.
So people are still, if you're walking through crowds, people are still giving you a wide berth, but they're not like terrified or anything like that. So just so you guys know, you're at this outpost area, and so you are you haven't. I don't think. Have you informed them at all about the mission they're going to be on, or
just that we're supposed to be investigating a problem before it becomes a real serious issue?
Okay.
So,
well, then
because the details seems like they were still holding on details. Let me pull up what we were talking about here real quick. So let's see. So there's apparently there's been monster sightings and some deaths at the border town. So was it Shoals?
Yeah, Shoals.
Okay. So in an effort to prevent a break of truce with the neighboring country, we've been sent to deal with said problem. So things like we'd be looking for, like I guess initially for any abnormal deaths, things that have like a great number of dead people, some things of that nature. There may be some other signs. So,
yeah. And this outpost town is maybe like depending on how you get there, it's not super far, but the travel time will depend on how you choose to travel.
Right. I'm just finding it really hard to figure out how to requisition something that will hold both myself and Soraka, because that's got to be a serious wagon, man. It's got to be like, oh my gosh, can we get it reinforced with the?
If you could find a way, trains do exist in Amestris, so you can if you can find a way to get on one.
That would be interesting. So I guess I'd point that out to Yoshi, and I'm like, hey, we can get close to a train. I think between the three of us, we could figure a way to get on. That'd be the easiest way for us to travel.
Well, possibly only you two can get on, but I can probably get in.
True, but like I said, I'm like, we're a little bulkier than the average individual, so horses are out because I'm liable to crush the horse, and she's liable to eat it before we go anywhere. So I'm like,
That's all right. Horses are horrible, disgusting creatures.
I'm sure you have your own preference, Yoshi.
Kiyoshi.
See what you can find us. Kiyoshi. Anyway, see what you can find us as far as trains and stuff. And so is there a market beyond the courtyards and stuff, or what's just the fields and stuff, or would we have to walk to the nearest train?
The nearest town is a fair walk, but that's like maybe half hour, 45 minutes to get into town. Out here, it's all farms and fields.
Right. Okay. So that's not too bad. The and based on his knowledge of the area, there's a train that runs through this upcoming town.
the Amestris train system is pretty expansive.
Okay.
So it'll make it, as long as it's not through mountains, it'll make it to most of the towns.
Okay. And okay, so yeah, we just have to catch the train heading in the right direction. So yeah, he escorts Soraka out into the fields and trusts that Kyoshi has gotten well ahead of things and is able to figure out when the next set of trains are coming through. What time of day are we talking about?
At this point, it's probably to get there close to noon at this point. Yeah. And,
okay. All right.
So it's probably close to noon by the time you're getting to town from the walk. Yeah.
All right. And yeah, so that's Professor would meet Kyoshi at an agreed upon place in the town. Kind of like he's talking to Soraka, but he's like, okay, did you find the train? We have a way to get out.
Of course, the train. It is leaving 13 minutes from now.
All right. It's like is this strictly a passenger train, or is it carrying cargo and stuff?
It is not carrying cargo, but it will be on the way back. Presently, 2 of the cars are empty.
That's good. That's good.
Although I don't know if you specifically can get inside through the door.
I'm sure we could figure out a way. Is it so these are passenger cars that are empty then?
Well, there are storage cars, but they are guarded.
And like Kyoshi, I'm sure that you could create enough of a distraction that we could get on. So I may not be as professionally adept as you are with getting into places, but I'm sure if you create the distraction, I can get myself and Soraka on board. So and then he considers it, and he's like, he makes his way over to the ticket counter and is like, could I buy a ride on the storage compartment of this next train coming up? I was like, I can't fit in the normal seating, so.
Yeah, you could. I don't see why not. You just you have the funds for it for sure.
Yeah. Well, no, I was talking to like the ticket office. I'm like, look, I can't fit in the regular seats. So.
The guy is like, what? He's kind of like, he's not like he's terrified. He's just like, is this like a strange suit of armor? And then you produce the money, and he's like, yeah, that can. Or did you in the storage cart? Yeah, I think.
And he's like, yeah. I'm like, look, you got nice seats on the car and everything. I just tear that up. I'm like, and I didn't have to pay the cost and everything. Just put me in the storage cart, all right?
And kind of snaps out of it. And he's like, well, it is a whole cart. It's a bit more expensive than just getting a seat.
Yeah, but I'm sure that we could come to a reasonable price. I mean, what are we talking about here?
And he kind of like pulls out some books, and like, because he has to like basically create like a weird ticket. And he's like, and he shows you a price that's double what a normal ticket would cost.
And he was like, and is the car going to remain empty until, and he gives him a city that's fairly close to Shoals. And he's like, are you going for a pickup then with this train then, I guess?
Yeah, that cart will remain empty until it arrives at its destination.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's like, all right. He's like, there's no need to argue about the price. That's fair. He hands him the necessary money for it.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me the ticket and everything.
Yeah, and it is done here. He signs the ticket, he gives it to you, a big smile, takes the money, puts it away. And he says, "Well, you should hurry. We leave in 5 minutes."
No worries. And if the guy at the ticket office is still watching, the professor's walking off, and he's kind of talking into the air, and he's like, "Hey, Kiyoshi, we've secured a spot on one of the storage carts."
And you look around, and he's not even there anymore.
And he fully expects this. It's just one of those things. So everybody thinks that the stone man is really strange, but the fact that the stone man just talks to the air is just adding to that. There's like, okay, this guy is like, this is kind of really weird. But anyway, so the professor goes by. He gets Soraka, and and he's like, he's waiting for. He hands the ticket to the conductor, and he's like, and he's hopefully he's waiting on Kiyoshi to create kind of his distraction. He's like, so he can slip Soraka onto the storage cart.
And just as you're looking around, there is a small explosion at the other end of at the front of the train.
And Professor bends down and he's like, conductor, you might want to check on that. I said, here, you got my ticket. Everything should be good.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to say anything if there's like he hears the explosion, sees the puff of black smoke that comes up after it, and he's just like, I need to go check out. He kind of like takes your ticket and rips it and just like, he's like, get inside and be safe. And he goes to check out.
Yeah, so as he's turning around, the professor kind of motions Soraka onto the storage cart there, and then he slides the door just to the point where when Kiyoshi decides to show up, if he's going to get on at this location, he can slip on, and he finds himself a seat and waits for the train to get underway.
Okay. And does Soraka actually go on, or did you do the other thing you were planning about doing? If you're talking, Melissa. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So she follows you inside, and it's just the two of you in the storage cart. The train is delayed a few minutes while they figure out what the explosion was, but excuse me. But
it turns out that it was a gun that had malfunctioned.
Oh,
nice.
Was it an officer's gun, like on him, or?
Yeah, the officer's gun went off unexpectedly.
Yeah. And you see that officer is actually like being walked to, like his gun's been taken from him. He was being walked to the office, and he's got this face of like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what but yeah, he's being removed. And yeah, to answer your question, Melissa, there are people on board, but not in the compartment you guys are in. You guys have an entire storage compartment to yourselves. There's just no seats or anything. You're basically with the luggage.
Ooh, luggage.
Or cargo. So yeah, with that, after that delay, the announcement goes out. It's like, oh, sorry for the delay. We will be we are now leaving, departing for Xandria, and we should be there in approximately 10 hours. And then the standard announcements go on. So you guys will be there in Xandria, which is a very small town. Well, it's not very small. It's a regular sized town, but it's only about a 2-hour walk to Shulls, which is where you're supposed to go.
Okay.
So, is there anything that you guys would like to do on the train or during the ride, or if anything you guys want to talk about? If so, now would be the time to do it.
Oh, I'm sure there's some interesting things in the luggage here. Especially the other part of it is he's trying to figure out he tries to identify if there's any like foodstuffs or anything in any of the luggage and stuff, because he's willing to bet that Soraka's hasn't really done much in the way of eating. So
okay, why don't you give me an investigation if you're just like openly rummaging through luggage?
At which point in time, Kiyoshi will say, No, do not steal from these people.
Is Kiyoshi
I'm just
being
borrowing.
Sarcastic?
No, he's being quite serious. Because randomly, this is against his strange sense of honor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Can't steal.
We can borrow, right? He holds up. I mean, it's kind of interesting. He's like, he starts going through luggage and like, so he's like, okay, this is worth like 5 coins, and he puts the coins in, closes the bag up, and goes through, is like sorting through stuff, and mostly he's just curious to find out if there's anything edible on the train, because he's like I said,
unless you are paid to steal, you cannot steal. Of course, you could hire me to steal, but you cannot steal.
A very interesting predicament we have here. It's not stealing, it's acquisitions. It's all needed for the mission. Trust me, it's all needed for the mission.
Yeah, he doesn't budge. No, that's not right. It's totally wrong. You can't steal unless you're hired to do it.
Well, the government did hire us
to stop bad things, not stealing. They didn't hire you to steal this.
But I hired you.
Are you hiring me to steal food for this giant, terrifying creature?
Well, they don't necessarily have a food cart coming back this far on the train, so we got to do something. Otherwise, she's going to eat you before she eats me. So,
well, I could get food from the food cart regardless. It's not like not like this train door doesn't open, and he slides the train door slightly open. Just hop, skip, and a jump outside, in through another door, grab some food, and come back. Easy peasy.
And he's like, he tosses him enough to cover the food and everything. He's like, she's a carnivore. She's gonna eat meat. So if it isn't meat, don't bring it back. Well, unless you're planning on having something to eat, and then cover whatever you need to cover. So.
Yeah, then I'll just climb outside. I've got athletics of 3. I feel like I can handle this. I'll roll if you want me to, though.
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button for a second. No, that's fantastic. Athletics of 3 is, yeah, naturally you're fine. Also, that was a fantastic application of your trouble. Definitely worth the fate point. Good job, man. Do you actually leave the luggage alone after he's gone, or?
No, once he's gone, then he goes back to doing what he was doing before.
That's like what you do when the paladin's in the party. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the shinies, man. You know, if there's a shiny, he's after it. You know, I'm sure that there's something in here. So, like I said, he doesn't have any qualms with like leaving a, random coin in there to cover for, he won't pay the full price, but he'll put some.
Roll investigate real quick.
I did. I put it in the Facebook chat, but anyway, yeah, I got a 4.
Okay, 4.
Yeah.
With that, you've okay. With a 4, you kind of like rummage through these things and you put things back the way they're supposed to go. So maybe not expertly, but well enough for most people not to be too concerned. And
it looks like their luggage has been shaken on the train ride.
Yeah. And most of the things you find are very common. You don't find a whole lot of, you don't really find any money or anything like that. Most people keep that on themselves. You do find a interesting trinket in someone's luggage, actually. Why don't you describe to me what this trinket looks like? So this thing that caught your attention.
Most of the time when people wear like necklaces and lockets, they actually wear them. And this happened to be one of those odd things that caught his attention. It was like, it's a locket and it's got a cameo inside of it. Like some lady who stood for, them to chisel out her face in stone and whatnot. And it's kind of like the cameo in it is worth more than the locket is. It's kind of like the locket's in this like beat up, bronze or copper, whatnot, and chain and necklace and the whole thing. But he was like, this is really interesting. This like he's weighing it. He's like, just the cameo alone is like 10 times more valuable than the chain and the locket it's all part of. I was like, this is real interesting.
And yeah, you do. You find you did a little bit of digging and you found that item. I'm sure you probably stashed that away before, just before Kiyoshi comes back with a rather large amount of meats and
it's just a single ham. He comes back with a single ham.
Single ham. Oh my gosh. It's like
he comes back slightly longer than you expected, but when he comes back, you realize that he took his time and actually ate food and is coming back with just the ham.
And he's like, I hope you ate the other 3 ham hocks that went with that ham. How long you been gone? My gosh.
No, but I had a lovely conversation with a beautiful woman.
And I'm sure she'll remember you in the morning.
Absolutely will not. Anyways, he walks over and hands you the ham.
Uh-huh. And so I love it. So I motioned for Kiyoshi to get to the other side of the car, and so he goes up and he pulls the muzzle off of Soraka.
Surprise!
And
it's not there.
He throws the ham hock up into the air, steps back a couple of feet.
Yeah, and you notice that that was the big surprise. Like she didn't have the muzzle on her, and you didn't take it off of her.
Right. I'm figuring there'll be some surprises along the way, but I'm not dead yet, so that's a good thing. So he does what he can to, keep her satiated here, And you said roughly 2 hours there, Sam?
2 hours. Oh, that's the after you guys stop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, so periodically we have to go out and get him to get her something else. You know, I'm sure that Kiyoshi has no problem just going up there and checking things out and doing his normal thing. But yeah, the professor's athletic capabilities, being a block of stone, is kind of a mute point. So him trying to go and retrieve the stuff is not going to happen. So
Just offhandedly notes, there was
It's
a boat in
at,
there. Where
this
is it now?
It's at this point, to interrupt you, that you better dodge, Ninja.
Ninja dodge. I dodge. I don't know what I'm dodging. Oh, am I actually rolling to dodge something?
Yes.
Okay.
she's taking flight.
Oh no, not even. She doesn't have to. You're in confined space.
I got +3, right? Is 4 then. 4 dodging.
I got 7.
Damn it.
So that's 3 stress, and she rips off a part of you.
So you actually proceed to try to eat the ninja?
Yes, she's very hungry.
All right, so Alexander, do you remember how the stress system works?
Nope.
All right, like on the sheet where it just says physical stress, you just have to mark the third bubble on there, if you have it. How many physical?
We're on this sheet.
Okay. So how much do you have endurance?
I have endurance level of 1.
Okay, so you do have you have 3 basically on that sheet. Put physical stress somewhere.
Yep.
And then put 3 bubbles after it.
Okay.
All right. So after that, you'll have access to 4 consequences, and we'll get to that one if you actually ever take consequences. But yeah, just mark in the third bubble on your stress. Not all of them, just the third one.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's this is, since there was no consequence slot taken up. This is like her jaws are on you and like digging into you.
Smoke bomb right down the gullet.
That we can definitely do.
That's like the that whole scene, like feeding pigeons Alka-Seltzer or seagulls, you know.
Go ahead, roll the seed for me.
How do you want me to dodge that? What do you want me to do?
6.
That is what's that? Well, what'd you get?
6.
6, fantastic. For that, roll notice.
Okay. Oh, that sucked. I got a 1.
Yeah, so the only flesh bag in this cart has disappeared from the site. This smoke bomb goes off in your mouth, and you get that terrible acrid taste, and it's in your nostrils. It kind of like your tear ducts, whatever form of tear ducts you actually happen to have, are like welling up, and you lose sight of him. He's disappeared into the cart.
There's only so much cart he can hide behind.
He has the luxury of leaving it. So
yeah, I'm not in that cart anymore. Are you kidding me?
and the professor kind of figures that this was gonna happen. He yells out, he's like, Kiyoshi, I told you to bring back food. And it's like, he's not even gonna bother to worry about trying to restrain Soraka. He's like,
okay.
He knows what she's going through, but it's just like there's nothing he can do about it right now. It's like, so maybe stick his hand out and maybe catch a flying bird or something.
So yeah, Kiyoshi, roll. Since I know what you're gonna do, roll stealth, and you have access to a aspect that you placed down there with the smoke bomb. So you can invoke that for a +2 to your stealth. Since Soraka, not Sriracha, since Soraka, you are actively trying to hunt down this prey. You can roll notice to try to find him.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaving the cart.
Yeah. It's your intent. Like a rabid dog.
Man. 5 total.
Oh, very good. What was your notice, Soraka?
I actually got a 5.
Ooh.
Oh wait, I forgot my advantage.
Damn
The
it.
+2.
Yeah.
So it was very close. So it turns out to be very close. You get to the door, and Soraka, you're looking through there. Like you said, there's not much in this cart, and like maybe you're on top of some boxes, some crates, and you hear the door kind of like creak open, and it's like that raptor scene. You turn real fast,
Yeah.
and you go to lunge, but he slams the door right in your beak, just, and the steel door prevents you from having your meal as he quickly moves into a different cart.
Yeah, and I'm not coming back the rest of this train ride.
So that stress, physical stress is, it kind of erases itself after the scene. So your combat scene is done. So that's kind of like your clothes are ripped. Maybe you have some scratches, but you're just kind of like, shit. Did not go like I thought.
Like, why don't people ever listen to me? My gosh. I said, come back with food. Like, what does he do? He eats it before he comes back. I'm like, what the?
He brought an entire ham. That is enough food for like 4 people.
Yeah. We'll have this discussion later.
What is Soraka doing now that you are like free and roaming inside this cart?
That depends on one question, and
Yes.
that is how much did the professor keep the cart closed?
I mean, no, it wouldn't have been the professor. It was definitely Kiyoshi. And I'm pretty sure Kiyoshi had a vested interest in closing that door as fast as possible, like as securely as possible.
Is there any other exits out of that cart?
They're probably this is a storage cart. So it probably only has like those tiny windows up top that most people can't really fit through.
Okay.
But actually, now that I think about it, you said while you were searching the luggage that you were pulling out foodstuffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there probably would be a small pile of like snacks and stuff that people bring around. Maybe like a gift bag that someone was bringing to a family member. It's just like all
Right.
like, in a corner.
All right. Then in that case,
And I'm like, that's about all I'm like, I motioned to her. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, I said, you'd probably have to tear your way through the ceiling if you're going to get anything, fresh, I mean,
she
he
gives you a
just kind of shrugged his shoulders.
just complete baleful, like, how dare you do this to me? But she roots around for something, looking at you suspiciously the whole time.
And
Now.
Shortly after that point, that the door will open, several smoke bombs will go off inside, and then there will be a smallish platter with 2 more hams, and a little note that says, "That's all you get."
That's sad because I don't know how to read, but I am anyway.
That's fantastic. You eat up the hams, presumably bones and all.
Sam, did you see your Facebook message?
Oh, I did hear it. Thank you for reminding me to check it. Oh, okay. Soraka, so you eat up the hams, like previously stated, probably bones and all. Do me a favor and roll endurance, please.
Okay. That would be a 2.
Okay. So basically, you eat up the hams, and at this point, it's probably a familiar feeling. It's just taking longer. You kind of begin, after a few minutes, begin to feel sluggish, and just kind of like, your eyes are becoming to feel heavier. And this is something you definitely are familiar with, and you know that the sleep is coming soon. And at some point you probably find, like anticipating this, you find a relatively comfortable perch and pass out.
What you mean?
Professor's like, well, I did kind of balance them out, I think. I got one counter to the other, so he's like the only one.
Kiyoshi,
Yep.
the tranquilizers that you put in there were effective. Granted, it probably should have worked after a few seconds. It took 5 minutes for it to take full effect on this creature.
Yeah, but I don't come back for 15 minutes, so it's been 10 minutes later when I come back and I say, next time, warning on how much food.
Definitely more than you could eat. Let's put it that way.
I could eat less than a ham. And
I realize that. Maybe you should have brought your weight in meat. That would have probably done it. If they had a cow on a spit, you should have probably brought the cow.
Unfortunately, I have stolen all of the meat I could find. They only
Stolen? No. All right.
Well, yes, you paid me to get food.
Yeah. Okay. The professor's like, whatever, that's good. He's like, let me take a look at your. How are you doing there? You actually
Well,
got some bite marks there. Some.
The steel plates I wear under my clothes are badly mangled, and I expect you to pay for their repairs.
We'll get it taken care of. Don't worry about it. So, did you notice anything else while you're up in the carts up there? Any interesting figures? Any individuals of note? Something that we.
Well, there are 3 people who are much too rich to be going from the town we're leaving or to the town we're going. So I am suspicious of that. But other than that, it's just normal people.
Right. Anything of interest in conversations with those individuals?
I mean, depends on what you want to know. Everyone has an interesting conversation if you care enough.
Oh, there's always something of value out of it. Tell me something that you found interesting.
Well, I find it interesting that a man was telling his friend that his wife has no idea, while 2 places over, his wife was telling a woman about how long she'd been poisoning her husband.
Did you get any of that poison? Might be handy.
That garbage? No.
That should be real interesting. How long do you figure he's got to live before he keels over?
Well, based on the fact that
it was poor quality poison, right?
Based on the fact that she was also Xing, I'm going to assume she's smarter than the average, people from around here. So probably 2 years. Slow enough that it will seem like an accident. Well, if his health declines over 2 years and then he dies, no one will be suspicious.
I wouldn't be suspicious, except if it was you doing it. Then I'd be suspicious. But other than that, we're good. All right. Yeah. The only other. Did you hear anything? Anybody discussing anything about strange deaths or anything in Sheen?
Just that they'd heard rumors. Nothing substantial. I don't think anyone has actually been over there.
Okay. And just for reference, the neighboring nation is Crete.
Crete. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all good.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. I'm getting there. So
yeah. Well, with that, it seems like any potential leads you might get from the train have kind of dried up, and you guys are left with the rest of the voyage making idle chat, and maybe with Kiyoshi hoping that the tranquilizer lasts as long as it's supposed to. And we will start the next scene in the morning after you guys have gotten off the train. possibly shocking some individuals as these large come out of the storage, and they see that some of their luggage might have some possible droppings on it. So we'll move on to the trek. Unless you guys wanted to do anything in this town, we can move on to the town, basically the entrance of the town you're supposed to get to.
Right. No, just disembarking the train.
Okay.
I figured between the professor should be able to take a fall from a moving train without too much problem, and you get a little jostled. But
okay, so that's how you want to get off the train. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
I just Kiyoshi can get off however he's going to get off. We'll find him one way or the other. But I just it's like
I think that's fair enough. I think that basically between Kiyoshi's athletics, your incredible fortitude, and Soraka's ability
to fly. Yeah,
you guys will be relatively safe. So
I get in the passenger cart and get off like a normal person.
Right.
So okay, so you get off at the place you're supposed to, and most likely meet up with them too on the road.
Are there any small unattended children?
Wait, did you leave with the professor, or did you stay in the cart to get off at the stop?
I may have waited and not cared when he rolled off.
Then yes, there could be very small unattended children.
And as the professor's getting off the train, because he has kind of a suspicion, but he's like, we're not supposed to be the cause of the problem we're supposed to be solving, just as a reminder. And he takes a step off and rolls his way out of the train, because the space was paid for one individual. It didn't say anything else specific about it, so he did leave her the other half of the ticket, so when she gets off, she shouldn't have any problems. So,
all right. So, what exactly do you do when you get off the train, Soraka?
I don't get off the train. Like, what I do is before, like, I kind of peek my head, like, so I can kind of see what's going on, and I bail out of the train before I actually get there. And I assume the train has no, these are open air trains, correct? The stations?
The stations, yeah. It's not like they're enclosed. Like, they have a platform, so they're so if you're looking at the platform, there are probably a couple families like waiting to pick up the incoming visitors and stuff like that.
Okay, so is there large grass around here that I can hide in?
Oh yeah, for sure. Large fields. Actually, if you're looking around the area, just because you're kind of probably gliding or something, you could see that like a quarter mile back, there's that large stone figure. The professor is like walking down a road, or like trying to make it to a road. But there's lots of tall grass and stuff.
Okay, then the question becomes: are there any small unattended children?
That would be notice check. Give me a. Let me see.
Okay. That would be a 5.
Oh my, that's very high. There are several. There are a few children out. Most of them are basically very well attended to by their parents because there's a train coming. But there's one kid that's actually
Augustus Gloop.
That's actually
he's over there dipping in the chocolate.
That's actually separated from its parental units, and at least in your eyes, and very close to the edge of the platform. Actually, with that 5, you notice as a child falls onto the track, but he's completely unattended. No one seems to have spotted him at the moment.
Okay, I would like to ready myself to dart, grab the kid, and pull him back into the grass.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Give me athletics.
That would be a 3.
Let me roll the train. Lucky. So it is a very close call. You kind of like, you come in the dart and you notice that as you're kind of doing that like dive bomb motion, you're matching the speed of the train for a moment and then barely speed up past it, snatch the child. And do you go away from him or do you just drop the child in the field?
Oh no, I pull the child back and using a set of my hands, I put my hands over the mouth of the child while I pull it backwards.
So as you like, whoosh, there's like some people that are just like the wind, and there's like, what was that? Was that a streak of darkness? Like, is that a shadow?
No, that was a train. That was a train.
And then directly after that, the train is like stopping. And just like, did you see that? Like, the little murmurs. But you and the child are. Did you continue flying, or did you land?
Oh no, I was in the grass.
Okay, you're in the grass.
So first, I would like to muffle the child's voice, as I said. Would that be a might check?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and make that might like grapple.
Okay, that would be a 4.
Yeah, the kid is successfully muffled and terrified, just petrified.
Okay. And then I will pull him back one more zone, as is my action for now. Do I get another round, or?
Yeah, at this point, it's just narrative. The kid can't fight you.
Okay.
So actually, as we're doing that, like the train is stopping. So Kiyoshi's getting like, you're kind of like doing the normal passenger thing. You see people like, getting off, greeting family, but you could hear one lady's just like, it's like, Timothy, where are you, Timothy? Just like wondering, like yelling for her kid.
I mean, a woman yelling for her kid, that's not suspicious.
No, it's very standard in open areas. So yeah, we go back to you, Soraka.
After bringing the child down low, out of sight of the train car, and hopefully, what direction is the wind coming from?
This gets probably northerly, so it's not downwind from them. It's kind of like side, but that's sufficient to not have your scent go towards them.
Okay, so I pull myself back a couple of zones away from the train tracks because I did see the professor coming. And I started snapping.
Okay.
I ate his throat first, so he wouldn't scream.
And that's when everything fades to black. You do what you do. Soraka has a meal. Kind of like the beginning of Jurassic Park 2.
Oh my gosh. There's no Jurassic World. I remember that.
That too, yeah. So with that, guys, Professor, you get to the rendezvous area, and the most likely, based on his speed, the Kiyoshi would probably get there before you.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's figuring Kiyoshi would be collecting information, so Professor's not overly stressed about.
I mean, have you given him any real information other than there's an anomaly over there somewhere?
Yeah, we're supposed to be monster hunting something that's actually out killing people, other than Soraka over here. So
Soraka hasn't gotten there yet. I'm assuming she'll probably be a little bit late to your rendezvous.
No, I would have pointed that out beforehand. I'm like, you just have to understand that Soraka is going to have to eat, okay? And she's, and it's not the way that you like to eat. So, anyway, so what we're looking for is something other than Soraka feeding, okay? Death of any sort, people dying, that kind of thing, and it should be within this.
Right. So I will probably.
What do we?
It's so far all of them have happened inside the town of Shoals.
Okay.
I will go to a cafe and order cake and tea and ask people.
Okay. So why don't we go with?
No one has any moral, obligatory, fate aspects to come stop me? Question mark.
I have no way of knowing what you're doing, and
Okay, just
also not really.
Just checking.
And the professor brought you on knowing that this would be likely the cause. So there's two parts to the professor's thought process on this. Number one, Soraka is a human killing machine type kind of thing. So people are likely to die. So we might be able to disguise the other goings on in this town under her feeding while we're still doing the investigation. So
sticking with the blame, why don't you?
Okay. So Kiyoshi, since you're doing some information gathering, that I can see as either under contacts or rapport if you're trying to talk to people to gather some info.
All right. Well, I've got a 1 in contacts and nothing in rapport, so we'll go with contacts. It's 1.
Okay. So yeah, with a 1, it probably takes a little longer than you're used to. But
can I create Can I first try to create an advantage by coming up with an elaborate lie about how I'm a reporter?
Oh yeah. Go ahead and roll me deceive.
Good, because I'm much better at that, and I could use the bonus. That's amazing. That's 1, 2, 3 minus 1 is 2, plus 7. 7 to create an advantage.
Yeah. That is that's huge. That's basically
shows up with the camera and he's with the notepad.
With that you can create basically 2 advantages, which means you could tag it twice, which I'm assuming you will, which will give you a total of 5, I think, for your contacts.
Absolutely, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And actually you managed to in your line of work, you call that striking gold, because you find what is probably the most gossipy woman in town.
That's awesome.
Who just is like, oh, a reporter, you say, and she just sits down and just begins fanning herself, and it's like, well, you picked the right person. I know everything about this area. I've lived here my whole life.
I ordered more cake to share with her.
So what are you reporting on?
I heard there were some disappearances, possibly mysterious.
And she kind of looks away. Oh, very sad events that are happening in Shoals. Mm-hmm. They've had 5 deaths over the last week.
And I'm sure a brilliant, insightful woman like you knows more than just, oh, there's 5 deaths. I'm sure you know all about it.
Well, she kind of looks away and just like takes a drink out of the tea. Well, you didn't hear it from me. But then she respells her name for you to make sure that you know how to spell it correctly. But I hear tell all kinds of funny rumors up there about monsters and the ruins that actually, I'm sorry, back in her voice. I'm sure you know about the Crete ruins that are right by their lands, of course.
Well, while I have a cursory knowledge, I'm nowhere near as big of an expert as you're going to be.
Well, yeah. It was taken over years ago when Amestris was still growing. So it's just been sitting there forever. They have rumors about it. It shows people talk about it, but that's what they think is happening. They think the going thought is there's monsters coming from from those ruins, seeking retribution. Now that the truce has been solidified, that used to be a sacrificial ruins, a religious thing, what the ancients used to believe in, nonsense. Saying that since the blood flow has stopped, it's seeking out to make more blood flow. Nonsense, really, but that's what they're saying over in Shoals.
Well, that's great, and I am busily actually taking very good notes on all of this. And do you know personally any of the related to any of the family of the victims?
Oh, yes, the poor Barretts. They actually moved away because of it. They came to this town. I don't know. It was just kind of looking towards the train station. I heard the Barrett mom was yelling about something out in the train station. I hope everything's okay.
Another one bites the dust. Yeah, and another one.
Was she yelling about her son Timothy?
Yeah, that boy gets around. He gets lost. He likes to explore, but that's normal things. We haven't had any problems, so I'm sure he's just lost.
Oh, well, I would be wary if I were you. You never know when. Well,
actually, at that she gets a little like perky. Wait, do you think we're in danger?
Well, I don't know. A clearly gifted woman like you will probably know how to stay away from danger, but the other people, you got to keep a lookout. And if you see anything, you let me know, because I have contacts back in everywhere.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, of course." And what newspaper do you work for again?
And I say the most popular newspaper. New York Times of this area.
Central City Gazette, just whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh yeah. I'll spread the word. Tell people to keep an eye out, and if anything happens, I'll contact you."
All right. Well, I'll be in this cafe all day, and then I raise my voice so that the people can hear me, because this is the best damn cake. And then, yeah, if she leaves, I'll just continue sitting there eating cake.
All right. I'm going to assume, well, actually, wait, Soraka, you've had your meal. Do you go to the rendezvous spot to meet with the professor?
Did anyone tell me the rendezvous spot?
I'm going to assume yes, or else this is going to get derailed very quickly.
Yeah, as far as the tall grasses will let her, she hides herself towards that direction.
And I could say during the time period while Kiyoshi's gathering information, you find yourself on the road, on a very abandoned road with the professor.
And as she approaches out of the tall grass, professor's like, he motions to her face, like, you might want to clean up a little bit.
She summarily slams her face into the ground and kind of wiggles around her face a bit, and then pulls it back out. And then
much better.
Then pulling her wings to her, you see her arms kind of pull up and pull the dirt off of her face.
All right.
Now, just leave Kiyoshi alone, okay? I realize he didn't bring you the food that you needed. I understand that. You guys are even now. He should be returning here shortly. And you said it was a deserted road, right? So we're
yeah. There's not a lot of foot travels to Shoals on a regular day, and especially now when people are saying that there are monsters eating people in Shoals or killing people in Shoals.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you guys are just gonna wait there till Kiyoshi gets there, when when do you make your way back, Kiyoshi?
I actually forgot I was supposed to meet them. So yeah, I talk to that woman, and then I go back to town, or I go back to where I'm supposed to meet them.
All right. With a brand new set of information.
That and I managed to convince them to let me take a plate of cake.
Fine, for sure. Anything for the reporter.
So I'm walking down the road. Actually, I have 2 plates. Or I have 2 pieces of cake on the same plate, and I'm eating one and not eating the other. And when I get there, I set the fork. I don't know. I grab the plate and I fling it like this, so the cake goes flying off towards that terrible monster that tried to eat me earlier.
Oh man!
Because nothing says peace offering like here's some cake.
Mm-hmm.
Roll to see if you hit her with the cake.
Well, I was aiming at your head with the cake, so.
Actually, if that's the case, wait, would you not be paying attention?
It's an RP thing. It's not a. It's a role-playing thing.
Go for it.
I mean, I'm trying to get the cake at your head so you can eat it. What? You're not? I'm gonna wait until you're paying attention. I'm not gonna just throw cake at your head.
Okay.
I had assumed when I walked over you would be looking at me, since I'm the only thing moving around in this area.
You're approaching, not stealthily.
Oh no, I'm just walking over there.
Okay.
I'm walking over there as I finish up the last few pieces of cake that I am eating, and then I grab the plate and I fling the other piece of cake at you.
As you hit her in the face with cake, she kind of looks down at the cake, and looks at you and looks down at the cake. Proceeds to walk over to you slowly and starts rubbing the cake all over your jeans as if cleaning herself off.
Which
and then takes the extra hands among her arms and finishes it off, cleaning it off.
I will scrape some of the cake off my jeans and just. That's the way. This is really good cake.
Oh man.
That's. Love the exchange. That's great.
Well, at least she's gonna try to eat you this time.
She may be trying to flavor him.
Cool.
At least he knows what it's gonna take. So what are we, midday or something?
At this point, yeah, it'd probably be about noonish. Do you fill them in on the stuff you found out in town?
Yeah, I tell them everything that I heard, and I also try and sift through some of that stuff that I assume was bullshit. And then I offhandedly mention, and the mother of one of the victims, just earlier today, had one of her sons go missing. So that's not good. And he looks directly at
Soraka literally screamed. She's just looking all proud of herself. Like, you should be proud of herself too.
So I guess that clarifies I shouldn't be worried that the monsters of the ruins got out this far.
She makes grabby motions with her hands.
Grabby motions? Do you want a hug?
There's a high five in there.
Yeah, you
with
go
one of her hands,
like, because she's got so many arms, she just high fives herself.
And Professor's like, we probably ought to get over to Shoals. Let's see what we can find out.
Sure, I'm gonna go back to the cafe and wait and see if anyone else wants to tell me information.
And the professor points off in the direction towards Shoals, and he's like, "We'll be up that way. We'll." And he was like, "There was some details about the what was it? Ruins again? I think was what it was."
Yes, the woman wildly conjectures that the creatures are coming from the ruins. There's no evidence to support it, but
okay. You can find you'll find us in and around that area. That's probably where we'll start looking for things.
I'm sure I will find you. You're not that hard to spot.
He's like, he crouches down in the grass. Are you sure? It's like,
Yes, I'm sure.
He gets up and he pats Sriracha on the wings and like, come on, maybe we'll find you out something to snack on.
Okay, so you guys are splitting up. You're going back into the town, and you guys are you guys heading straight to Shoals or to the ruins? Because you're not.
Are the ruins before Shoals or after Shoals?
You actually have no idea. No one's told you where they are. They just told you that
Right.
there's ruins near Shoals. So
Well, we're heading the direction of Shoals, and then before we get to where people are going to start noticing us, we'll probably take a detour of some sort just to try to maintain cover.
okay, so you're not entering the city or the town.
Oh, no. They have enough problems already. We start entering the city, there might be we might have more problems than we can deal with right off the bat. So
Okay. All right, sure thing. And you're waiting in the cafe for more info, yeah?
I am being not subtle about how I love the cake and would love to hear more about general ongoings, rumors. If anyone wants to make wild accusations, maybe the mayor did it.
All right, I'll make sure to tell you the entire plot I've set up, and
You know who do that? A synth will only do that.
you say a sip.
I did. It's a Fallout 4 reference.
All right.
Yeah, it was definitely synths. Anyways, so I'll probably stay there for probably 2 hours or so. Enough time to finish an entire cake before I go meet up.
That's a lot of
with those.
cake. All right.
have
when
cake,
you're-
we'll eat it.
When you're a ninja, your entire diet is cake.
Yeah, of course. So, okay, with the information you guys have just given me, I think that might be a good point to take a five-ish minute break here. Go use the bathroom, get something to drink, do what you need to do, and we'll come back and we'll pick up with some new info and some new information. All right. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. See you in a few minutes. All right.
Yeah.
Yo.
So what's up?
Not much. How you digging the game so far? You guys have definitely taken it a different route than I expected.
I feel like this is the only route. This is the only route that made sense.
Oh no, I'm not saying you guys went. All right, let me rephrase that. Maybe not a different route. You guys have done certain things that I didn't expect. I should
Like
say
murdering
that.
small children? Did
Like
you not
murdering
expect
small
that?
children.
Other morally like people who would care both said, "Oh, I can't go," so it's their fault. I'm eating children.
Oh yeah, right, whatever.
Totally.
You could shed that off however you want.
No, I eat small children. I like to eat small children. I'm just blaming them for not stopping me.
That's fair.
You know, I was considering stopping you, and then you almost ate me, and so now I'm fine with you eating children. It's not
Hey.
Very realistic depictions of people, I would say. I wouldn't want to get eaten by a monster. And I'm getting flack from the chat. There, Zach says, "Sam, what were you expecting with a PC Chimera?" Oh yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. So I sent some info to some of you. I hope you guys got it.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Alex? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So yeah, that was the contact info that you gathered. So let's get right back into it. And I think you already gathering the info. You probably would be on your way, since you said you'd be there for about 2 more hours.
Yeah.
Kiyoshi would probably be on his way to Shoals. In that time period, I would say that the professor and
Marianne?
I'm actually going to convince somebody to take me there. Like,
to Shoals.
yeah, I need to go there. I am an important reporter. I don't have time to walk there. Someone bring a car about.
That would get you there much faster, man. Yes. Okay. So yeah. Then in that case, you guys would see that what are your names? Professor and Soraka would definitely see as you're looking around, kind of checking out the town. Since you said you'd take a detour before you went into the town, you'd see that for the first time, some actual activity going towards the town is like this car going down the dirt road that you followed.
And I kind of nudged Soraka and was like, "Do you smell Kiyoshi in that ride there?"
I just look at him because I'm not a dog.
Birds have
Come on,
terrible
bird
senses
of prey. What are you talking about?
What was that, Alex?
I said birds have terrible senses of smell.
All right. So when you get into the town, I'll let the professor and Soraka think about what action they're going to take now. So when Kiyoshi makes it into the town, what are you doing? The town itself.
I'd like a quick interjection. She's actually vulture, right? That's the kind of bird?
Yeah.
Okay, then vultures actually have very good senses of smell. I take that back. Anyways, when I get into town, I am going to begin interviewing people.
Okay, so you're sticking with the reporter thing. All right.
Absolutely. It's done me well so far.
Milk that sucker for everything it's worth.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with that, sure. Why don't the town is definitely smaller than the last one you were in. It seems like it's definitely been ravaged economically. It looks like you see a lot of people just kind of like wandering the streets, people that should be out working. You don't see them doing a whole lot. It seems like this might have been like a place for like a kind of like a refinery town where they would make refined seeds and things like that from other farms nearby. but everything seems a little bit run down. It's not too unusual for a place this close to the Crete border, seeing as many of the men would have been taken out to fight. Most of the money would have come, the food and stuff would have come from here first. So it seems like a down on its luck town at this point. So when they see you roll in a car, they're just like, people are like, "What's happening?"
Who be that?
Yeah, and I explained that I'm here to report on the instances and see if I can get some help for them.
Okay. Sure thing. What if that people are kind of like begin kind of talking to you? It's nothing that you haven't already heard, just some like regular stuff about like, oh, strange things happen at night. We were attacked. Monsters killed Gerald, and blah blah blah. But it doesn't take too long before a man in a military uniform starts marching his way out to you from the other side of town, and basically calling out to you, "Hey, you! Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?"
All right, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna come up there and tell him I'm a reporter, and he should have been told that I was coming.
And he kind of looks at you, and then he's like, "I was told we were getting help, not a reporter."
I ask him if I can talk to him in private briefly.
Yeah, we should get out of here. And he directs you towards his office. What he calls an office, it's really more of like this rundown old sheriff's building with like all the prison gates are basically busted and like rusted. And he just kind of like, and he's just kind of in there. He closes the windows and stuff, messed up blinds. It's definitely not the kind of building that you're normally used to seeing military officials staying in.
Well, I'm going to assume that he's on the level, and I'm just like, look, you wanted help? The best way that you can get help is for people to actually figure out what's going on. So I've got information now from the populace. Now tell me what's going on. Like, mano, I'm here to help. There is a guy made out of stone and a crazy horrible monster coming to help you, but trust me, you want to talk to me.
Okay. Also, I think you said you were a state alchemist, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so I pull out my pocket watch.
Okay.
His pocket watch.
And he's kind of like, I was like, okay, so all right, they told me we'd be getting help. A stone person and a crazy monster.
And I'm not here to tell you what's going on about that.
No, I was out in the field. I've seen lots of things. I'm not too surprised. It's just it's more of a headache. Okay. Yeah. So you just got here. The situation is that the last 5 nights out of the week, we've been raided by creatures, that humanoid creatures that had strange abilities, and they come in, they would raid, and every night it'd be at least one dead, and they'd leave with a bunch of money and food and materials, just whatever they can grab.
Has anyone attempted to communicate with them at all?
No. When a creature comes up to us that can shoot spines out of its back and kill one of our farmers, you don't ask a whole lot of questions. You just try to kill it before it kills you.
Men after my own heart, but you have not done a good job of killing them all, as I understand it.
No, we have not. And he kind of like lifts up his sleeve, and you can see like this heavily bandaged, fresh wound on his arm. It's like I got a quill shot through my arm. It was like a foot long. Went in one end, out the other. It's insanity.
Well, when dealing with things that randomly attack you and steal your food, there are three possibilities. You figure out how to kill them. You give them offerings to not kill you, or you give them offerings to not kill you that are laced with poison.
Those are interesting options. We have not been flush for means here.
Well, luckily you are now. As soon as the professor, who is a giant man made out of stone, arrives, he has all sorts of means.
Mm-hmm. My biggest worry is the fact that they come from they're coming from another location. I feel that they're coming from a ruins that's a bit north of here. Because we've seen different creatures every night. That leads me to believe that there's more than just, a handful.
Well, in principle, they are ants coming to take your food, and that's how you deal with ants. You poison them.
All right. And you can do that? You can do that for us?
I quickly do alchemy and produce a bottle full of poison.
Okay. Okay, I'm guessing that's not water, so I'm not going to drink that.
Well, you can tell it's not water on account that it's... Oh, it is clear. Yes, don't drink this. Pour this in some of the food. If I do not come back from investigating over there, at least you can probably kill some of them.
Okay. So I can talk to some of the trusted guys in town. We could try to set this trap. What are you and your companions going to do then?
Well, try to figure out what's going on over there. See if we can stop it. And if not, come back and tell you that we can't stop it and to go forward with the poisoning.
Okay, so you're actually going to go there. Okay.
Well, I assume that's what my employer will want to do. He seems to be the go and look at it type of guy. Wait, hold on a second. Do you hear? Yeah, heavy footsteps. He's here. Let me just go grab him.
You would have been able to see them, so if you guys want to make your entrance now would be the time.
So we took kind of an obscure route to get there, just something that wouldn't have alarmed the populace too much, especially since Kyoshi arrived by car and everything, big pomp and stance and everything. So as they're in the middle of the conversation, the professor actually, he doesn't even bother knock or anything. He just pushes open the door and steps into the room. This big figure just kind of fills up the doorway. It's like, Kyoshi, you called?
Huh.
Not exactly. Anyways, I forgot your name already. This is Professor, who apparently doesn't have a name.
Yeah, I'm Captain Bauer. Professor.
I'm Professor Takara. So.
Oh, okay. You were who they sent me in the report. I wasn't expecting someone so tall.
That's the least of your worries.
And he looks over to the cloaked figure, and this would be.
Don't worry about who that is. Don't look at her. Don't do anything. Okay, she's here for a specific reason. So,
I catch his eye and give him a small knowing nod, like I told you who this is.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I've been in service long enough to know when to shut up and do what I'm told. All right.
I look over at Kyoshi, so I assume that you got all the details from our captain here.
Yeah, the wild supposition, or the wild guess that they're in the ruins was actually not very wild and completely accurate. They're probably coming from the ruins. They come in here, they steal food and money, which seems strange. Why would monsters steal money? So clearly they're actually humans of some variety.
Right. Okay.
Meaning they can be talked with or murdered, whichever one pays the most.
Mm. And he's the professor's like, and there was some mention of them actually attacking.
Oh, you said you looked at the captain?
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah. I was like, and he pulls up his sleeve again. Yeah. Very much so. They attacked. Killed 5 people so far.
Okay. So it wasn't the other way around. I thought he's like, the professor's like, well, the information that I got was kind of vague. I thought they might have drug off the people. So they just killed him and left them, huh?
Yeah. We didn't give them much of a chance to drag anyone off.
Okay.
You know, we chased them, shot at them, but damn things are too fast or too hardy.
Swear and did you? I said, can I see your service revolver there, just so I have an idea of what kind of caliber I'm tracking? If I could.
And he just pulls up the standard, the 9mm they hand out to all regular service men.
Okay, it's like professor hands it back to him. He's did you happen to save the quill that you got tagged with?
Yeah, I'm sure the doctor probably still has it.
Oh, okay, very good. I nod to Kiyoshi, like, go on about your information gathering, and I pulse. At what time are we talking about here? We're getting into the early evening then?
Yeah, we're getting around 3, 3-ish, 4-ish. There's still a few hours of light.
Kiyoshi will leave.
And I'm like, so he motions for Soraka to follow him and gets directions from the captain where the doctor.
See, I have a slight problem because as soon as he unveiled his wound, she didn't do anything, but she's staring unerringly at where he was wounded. So she's not really listening to you at the moment.
It's gonna get real fun. I'm gonna grab her in a stony-armed headlock and rub the feathers off the top of her head. Pay attention.
She would bite you, but you're made of stone.
Exactly. I'm like, look, I know what's going on. Just try and focus. Try and focus. Right here. Look, guys. It's like
the captain is wide-eyed at all this. He's like, okay, get out of my office.
I'm like, Captain, you best take care of covering that up. She might be back. And he motions, basically pulls her out and moves her through the door. It was like, all while she's probably still focused on the captain. I'm like,
oh man.
Remember, she does have arms you can grab her by gently and pull her out the door.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. She wants to get physical. We got plenty of. The professor can take rough for a while. That's not a problem. So anyway.
Yeah, Melissa. By the way, for that and a couple other things, you're gonna get a fate point because you've been playing up your trouble pretty well.
So, the doctor's office, like across the square or something, or
it's not very hard directions. It's not a huge town. You can clearly see a rundown doctor's office. Sign is kind of tilted and busted. No one's around to really repair it. And once you're inside, well, like the door is not even closed. It's kind of like half open, you know?
Right.
And
So that's pretty funny because the professor will walk up and actually he'll take like a piece of rope from his pack and actually go up and actually tie the sign so it's like at least hanging like straight again. And he'll walk into the office. He's like, it's like, is there a doctor in here?
And at first you're not sure because honestly the whole like front room is completely empty.
Right.
Yeah. But then after a moment,
and the professor's actually looking at Sirach here and trying to, because he's got a feeling that if the doctor's here, there's people, injured people in here. She'll be able to pick it up right away. It's like he keeps waiting. It's like.
So yeah, and it doesn't really take long since he can hear the big ass footsteps. He's
gonna say, you sent me on ahead to collect information, and here you are already. I hope you don't expect any answers yet. The doctor hasn't come to see me.
we can speed that up for you. I'm like, Sriracha, you want to take a nibble out of it?
Well, I mean, yes.
No, it's So okay, so yeah, that's fine. I'm like, and I duck out. We basically duck out as the doctor's coming in. So Kiyoshi's the only one that's in there. So we made enough of a noise.
It's literally that. It's the doctor's coming out like, who the hell is making all the? And he just sees it's you in there.
There's Kiyoshi just sitting there. It's like
it's just asking you,
like in a chair, completely still, super chill. Clearly not him in the middle of the noise.
He's like looking down at the big footprints in the dust. And it's like, was someone else just here?
Yes, but he's gone now. Don't worry. So,
and he kind of like shakes his head. Okay, well, how can I help you? What's wrong, sir?
Well,
I haven't seen you around actually.
Yes, I am new in town. I am a reporter here to. He pulls out his pocket watch, and then air quotes. I'm a reporter here to find out what's going on around the town. What insights can the doctor provide?
I see. Okay. And okay. So you're probably got sent here by the captain because of that thing. Let me come back here. I'll show it to you.
Show it to me. There wasn't that bit he mentioned before. I was here mostly to find out about a quill.
Yeah. About the quill? Yeah, that's what I mean. Let me show it to you.
I thought you were going to show me a body.
I mean, I've got one of those too. Come on to the back. I don't want anyone else walking in and hearing this conversation.
Of course. And knowing who's outside, I think no one's coming in here.
Yeah. Oh man! So he brings you to the back of and the back is actually meticulously well kept. It's a very clean. It looks like a regular doctor's operating room. It's got the table, and it's got all the tools everywhere lined up. They're all very clean. There's no dust anywhere. So it's not like this is a sloppy doctor. But there's the main thing you notice when you come in is there is a dead body on the table, and the first thing you see is several dozen puncture wounds all along the front of him. So yeah, and the doctor kind of goes to a jar and like sets it, and it's just full of these like foot-long quills. They look exactly like porcupine quills, just way bigger than they should be.
With my expert eyes, I see if I think that they're poisonous at all.
It wouldn't take very much. I think. Do you have anything in academics or lore?
I have lore at 2.
Yeah, that should be enough to determine. It's like if they don't seem like a natural venom secreting thing. So it's not like they have little holes like uh, like snake fangs or anything like that. They could be dipped in poison, but that's about it. Doesn't seem like they're actually meant to hold poison in any fashion.
I looked around. How well stocked does he seem? Does he seem like he's probably running low on supplies?
At this point, yeah, you see a lot of tools, but you don't see like the medicine cabinet with the glass. You don't see a whole lot of medicine in there.
So I turn to him and I say, "So what type of medicine do you need most right now?
Right now,
Antiseptic, maybe? Maybe painkillers?"
yeah, those would be my. I was gonna say painkillers is top of the list, but antibiotics is a big one.
Oh, I can't make. I can't get you any antibiotics, but I can get antiseptic.
Sure, you can do that.
I will draw a circle and turn some useless garbage around here into antiseptic and the only painkiller I know, which is mild tranquilizers.
Yeah. All right. It's like mild garbage. You probably have to take a couple of like well stocked not medicines but chemicals, and you do manage. And he's like,
I hand
holy.
it to him and I say, "And now you've been successfully bribed to be very loose with information. Tell me everything."
He's just like, okay, and he puts it down. Yeah. What do you want to know? I could tell you right now, these creatures are not natural, normal human. They look humanoid from what eyewitnesses saw and what I saw that night. But they have animal features. This one in particular, these quills are exactly like porcupine quills, but he kind of like takes one and he just like slams it into the floor, and it digs into the wood. It's just scaled up. It's too strong to be a normal to be a large porcupine quill. So
I see. So, did you get a good look at this creature? Did it look like just a person who had porcupine qualities?
I didn't get the best look. I did get a detailed description of it from John here. When he wasn't screaming. So yeah, it looked like he was about 6'2", it was fat-ish, is what he said, and but that's right after that. All he remembers was searing pain.
Right, that seems to fog most people's memories.
Yeah.
And how many of these quills does he have?
He has a good dozen, maybe almost 2 dozen.
Would I be able to turn these into useful things for him? Because one, I want to destroy all the evidence, because this is definitely part of the gig, is cleanup.
Yeah. You could definitely make equipment like needles and things like that out of them. They're mainly made out of the same stuff as like nails and things like that. So actually, you could break it down into the chemicals too.
Yeah, I was thinking more. I could break it into chemicals and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what you could do with keratin, but I'm sure he could do something with it.
Well, I'm
Botox.
I'm sure both I and the doctor know more than either of us know about what keratin can be used for.
Yes, yeah. So I think based on your skill at alchemy, and since you already have a transmutation circle drawn, you can turn that jar full of quills into a jar full of basically.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I just make it into something, destroy the evidence, take one quill with me.
Yeah, sure. He's like, okay. Is there anything else?
Yes, one more thing. You didn't see me, and you don't know anything about the giant people outside.
I didn't know about giant people before.
I put my hand up and like exactly, and I just like walk away.
And it's kind of like that scene as you walk away, as he's just like, it's a very strange day.
So I hand.
I can see a Kyoshi turn around with the camera, snap a picture. It's like, okay, I gotta go. Whole photo thing. That'd be funny. Anyway, sorry.
I come outside with the quill, and I hand it to the professor and say, "Here, this is what it was. There aren't any more."
Very good. He's looking at it. It's like, let's head over in the direction of the ruins then, unless you've got some other fact finding to do in town.
No, I think this place is pretty much dry as far as information goes.
Okay.
All right.
So you guys are deciding to head up towards the ruins then?
Yeah. What we got as far as time then? We're only been about a half an hour since the last time I asked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So you still have a couple hours of daylight. You'll make it there. Kind of like when it's starting to near dark. Like when you still have like an hour, maybe an hour, like an hour and a half of daylight left.
Right. So yeah, I want to get up there, and I'm like, so I understand correctly, Kyoshi, these things are like human shape or human size, roughly.
Kyoshi says, "If my speculations are correct, we are looking for things that have some similarities to our good friend here. Of course, that is supposition, but I believe that it's more likely than any other alternative I can think of."
Fair enough. So let's be on the lookout for looking for other signs and stuff along the way. Did we find out anything as far as the size of this ruin or anything, or what exactly we're looking at? Anybody in town have any information on it?
Actually, I think Yoshi got some information about the ruins beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably did, but I don't remember.
I sent it to you in a messenger.
Oh, hold on. I did not read it. Okay.
This is information after the fact. Carrier pigeon delivers. That one lady he talked way up. She's like, I just remembered something. Hey, make sure you get my name spelled right now.
Yeah, okay. He says, well, it is a religious place full of human and gold sacrifice. So, presumably, I have no idea. People and their silly religions.
Yeah. You see the professor, he bends down with his cloth sack and starts putting sand into it, the dirt. Weigh it. throws it in his bag. It's like, all right. So yeah, we'll make our way up there, keeping an eye out for anything that looks like movement and tracks of other kinds, anything that might give a...
Okay.
I have 2 questions. One, no, I'm not asking you, I'm asking the character.
Sorry.
Does this creature here, Soraka, understand us?
She gives you a baleful look. Like, how dare you?
The professor just laughs. Yeah, she understands enough. She doesn't communicate very well, but yeah.
Clearly not. If she just asked me for more food, I would have gotten it for her. In any case, if she can understand us, and she is not currently killing us, I will assume that she is both intelligent and at least a little bit trustworthy. I would suggest she take to the sky and not get seen by anyone. She's up there, she can see things coming down here, and if we are in any great danger, she can swoop down to warn us.
That's fine. You gonna be okay out scouring out in front, because I'm gonna be a little slow. And he taps his stone legs. They don't move as fast as they used to.
Kyoshi's gonna take out a stick and like make there be dirt so that he can draw it, and he's like, okay, if you suddenly fly like this, that means that there's danger coming towards us. If you suddenly, and he's drawing flight patterns down for
What's the average weight of an unladen swell?
For non-verbal aerial communications. So he'll keep one eye up there, and if she like suddenly does this maneuver, he'll be alerted that there are things coming to get him. And I don't know. He comes with a handful of things.
She puts one claw, puts it through all your stuff, and then what time is it?
We're like 4:30ish or so, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, getting close to 5. Okay.
Kyoshi turns to the professor. I have no idea if she just agreed or said, piss off.
Probably a mix of both. Just don't take any real serious offense at it. Just let's just get through this.
And yeah, Kyoshi will just take off towards the place. He's not running by any means, but he's definitely not strolling.
All right, and you guys are making headway. It's a little bit of a trek. Things are definitely not developed out here. There's no road out to this place or anything like that. So you guys have to go through fields and hills for the better part of an hour. And all the while, Soraka is flying around above. So if all of you give me a notice check. Soraka, do it at a +2 because you do have an aspect of view of like bird's eye view. So.
All right.
I got 2.
Oh, both of you are 2.
That would be a 6.
I got a 4.
Okay. So fantastic. The 6 is incredible.
What can I see up there? I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, come on. Realistically, she's up there. She has literally a bird's eye view.
Yeah,
she saw everything.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of.
I hope she sees everything.
But so, as you guys, like I was saying, you guys are walking the things, the fields, the hills. They start to become a little bit like rockier hills, and it doesn't take too long until after about 45 minutes of walking, you will notice basically like a recessed ruins. The hills kind of like you like go over one hill, and built into the hill is like this stone temple, and you see like pillars and lots of little alcoved rooms and things like that. And it is not pristine by any manner. There's like what once would have been like beautiful mosaics and carvings into this thing is just covered in vines and moss, weathered by time and exposure. So it's It's definitely Professor. It's a very common view for you, being the relic hunter. But Soraka, you having the bird's eye view, you don't see just what's in front of you. You see the whole picture up here, and you do notice that there is movement down there. Mainly on kind of like if they're entering from the south side, on the north, you see two groups kind of like coming in from the sides. It looks like they're making a patrol of the area, and they're kind of heading towards the direction of your teammates, but they haven't noticed yet. At least not that you can tell.
So there's 3 groups?
Two enemy groups and your group.
Okay. I don't know what they are, right? I just know they're a thing and they're moving.
At that height, like how far up are you?
Like roughly 3 to 4 zones. I assume that would be high enough to get a bird's eye view,
Yeah.
but not be seen by most.
These are relatively big creatures. You could tell, yeah, they're definitely. It's a pretty unmistakable for you considering what you are. They look. I mean, they don't look like you, but they're humanoids, and they look like they've been mixed and matched with animals. It's like you see something that looks like a porcupine, but he's walking like a human being, and like you see a furry creature standing on 2 legs with ram's horns on its head, you know?
Okay. Then what she's going to do is she's going to land on a part of the ruin and just make noises at them to kind of distract them from the fact that my allies are moving in.
Okay.
As if, hey, I'm a bro. We should be bros because you're a bro.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So would the call be loud enough for your party here too?
I can roll provoke.
Yeah, do that, please. Thank you for mentioning that.
That would be a 3.
Yeah, for that definitely gets the attention of both the groups. They kind of like come towards you as you're like perched on. You said on one of the pillars.
Yeah.
And they draw near, and like they looked aggressive at first, and then they're looking at you. It's like, oh, one of them actually, the one with the ram horns. I haven't seen you here. Are you a new member? In perfect English.
Oh, sweet. Because I can't talk, so I just idly take a claw and kind of go under the chin and just test at him. As if all casual.
Mm-hmm. I missed the last word before casual. What was it? That was great.
Just all casual, like, is what I said.
Okay. And it's like, well, I mean, you're one of us, right? You're not a normal creature. And then one of them was like, of course. Do you ever see a bird like that? It's clearly a chimera. So you guys do me a favor. You probably wouldn't take much. One of you has a notice of 3, so that's enough to just passively observe it. You can hear talking, just maybe like 100 feet on the ruins, like past some of the columns and like a small amphitheater. You could see, like, if you just go to one side, you could see Soraka on a pillar, and then like a group of 4 chimeras trying to talk to her.
And I'm gonna try and stealthily approach.
Roll me stealth.
Yeah, it's my best thing. Well, I could have rolled better than that though. 5.
5 is fantastic.
Well, I have a +4, so it's
not bad.
Nice.
You based on your experience, are doing a very good job of not being noticed.
The professor. Yeah, he's. What would I do to roll for him being distracted? Because his thing would be, oh. No,
actually,
so he's over there. He's actually over there, like
you wouldn't have.
He's not even paying attention to anything else. He's like,
yeah, you wouldn't have to roll anything. Actually, I'm going to offer you a fate point on basically, I think it's your high concept that you get distracted and kind of like wander off because of all these ruins. They're actually you've never seen Crete ruins before.
And it's like he's kind of talking to himself. He's like, I wonder why they never sent me over this far for these kind of things. He's like, he's trying to piece together what, he's moving aside vines and stuff, and he's looking at trying to figure out what it is on these murals and stuff. Like,
I throw a rock at him.
Rock on a rock.
I notice what he's doing, and I literally throw a rock at him.
Oh man!
He swings his head around and and since he can't see him, he's like, he goes back to what he was doing.
So he goes about his business. Luckily, you do notice Kiyoshi, that the group of Chimera doesn't seem to be disturbed by the rumbling sounds of the professor walking down some steps to check out this mosaic on the wall. So let's move back as you're approaching that group stealthily. Let's move back to the group trying to get the attention of Soraka. And they're just trying to say things. It's like, did the professor make you? Did you need his help?
I just kind of fly down from the pillar and I just go around in circles and then stop and stare at them. As if they should know what I'm saying.
And then one of them is like,
yeah, that's funny.
One of them looks like, I think she's one of the old type of chimeras. And then one with like an elongated like wolf mouth, kind of like, what do you mean? Well, old chimeras. It's just back in the day when they were still doing early testing. I was talking to the professor about it. They didn't do good jobs of mixing us. So bad things would happen, like they couldn't talk or they couldn't move well and things like that. They did more harm than good, not like what the professor does. And so the ram-headed one looks at us like, is that what happened, or can you just not talk because of what happened?
She just hisses at them and then kind of folds her wings.
And are you
creepy ass wings? She folds them in.
Yeah. Huh.
So, how much of the conversation is audible at the distance where the professor is?
Where the professor is none. You were entranced by what you're doing. Okay. Actually, do me a favor. Roll investigate for me, since you're stumbling upon things. And Kiyoshi, are you still getting near? How close do you get?
I get close enough. I do not get close enough that I think a dog would be able to smell me, but I get about that close.
It's a hard thing to measure. So, but you're doing your best, and so far, you seem undetected. None of them have made that. You haven't seen a telltale ear twitch or anything like that.
All right, I slowly start drawing an alchemy symbol so I can start doing alchemy over there, because I got ranged alchemy.
Nice. Gotta love that alchemy.
It's the best stuff.
So, yeah. the professor got. He just. I nilled out on my roll, so I got a 3 on investigate.
Okay, interesting. So you do discover some things that it seems like the rumors that about this place seem somewhat true. It was just it's all seems to be like a big temple dedicated to sacrificing to the gods. Maybe something that was used probably yearly.
Mm-hmm.
That fell out of fashion long ago, back before industrialization.
Right.
But indications show that the sacrifices were kind of like thrown into a pit or into a certain area, which to you, based on the fact that they sacrifice not only people but gold and things like that, means that somewhere here there are plentiful relics just waiting to be found somewhere.
And that's where I'd like to check on the professor's presence of mind, whether he's actually mumbling to himself or if he's actually like processing this internally, because he understands that Kiyoshi and Soraka wouldn't really get the whole gist of what he would be talking about anyway. It's like, so he's.
Oh yeah,
He's
I mean,
like,
if you took the fate point, then yeah, you're in full on archaeologist mode.
so he's in talking to himself, and he's like, it's gonna be we got this and we got this, and then how about actually, is there anything that would determine like a language or something where he would actually, maybe he was talking more in the actual language of the environment, like, so if it was a particular religious type kind of thing, where he's like,
yeah,
so he's like reading things. He's reading in this language, going through, looking at the murals and putting the stuff together.
That would be academics if you have that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, well, a stat roll. So that's 8 in academics.
Wow. Yeah. No, you know it perfectly. Like, this was actually your major in college, like.
And he's like, I wonder why we never took any expeditions over here. Come on, really? I mean, look, this is perfect. It was like,
and then you recall the war,
It's like, the stupid war.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's over there and he's reading through he's moving along. So it's like this shuffle, and he's moving stuff aside, and he's talking to himself as he's going through the wall and stuff. And he's and piecing together where things are, and he's like, and then he takes a stop and he turns around, trying to get an idea of how big this thing is, so he can figure out where the.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then that's when he notices the group over there with Soraka, and he's like, and he just goes really still. He's like,
Yeah, and you do notice that there's literally within perfect eye line of you. There's a group of 4 chimeras very clearly, and actually, you would notice this. All of you are keenly aware of this. The ram looking one goes to the wolf one. Is like, Bjorn, why don't you go get the professor so maybe he knows how to communicate with her or with it, him, can't tell us. Yeah, go get him. So maybe he can help out. And then the wolf begins the wolf chimera begins to run off.
Okay, I have 3 different plans, and in ascending order if I want to do them. Using ranged alchemy, can I make it rain poison?
Like, it would have to rain upwards because it would have to emit from a source connected to where you're connecting. So you can.
I see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which you can. It could be like
pillar, right? There's a pillar. I could have it.
Yeah.
Spritz off of the pillar.
Yeah, yeah. It could definitely be like liquid lye. That stuff burns and
Ugh.
can blind you.
Yes, I am going to do my best to not hit the chimera that I don't want to be in terrible pain. Well, the
Okay.
one I want to be in terrible pain less than the others.
All right. So
And I'm
yeah.
gonna try and create an advantage of, or I guess a disadvantage of, oh god, it hurts.
Yeah. Make this nice little acid rain. Go ahead. What power level do you want to set this at?
So if I choose 2, since that's my lore,
Mm-hmm.
there's no roll required or what?
You don't have specialty, so
I have specialty in poison.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, that's my
Mhm.
specialty.
Oh, okay, right. So yeah, if you have poison specialty, then yeah, there is no anything up to your lore completely auto.
And then if I wanted to do above my lore, I have to roll. Like if I did 4 and my lore is 2, I have to roll 2 on.
Yeah, no, you would still have to. You would have to roll 4, but it just means like the rebound chance is minimized. You wouldn't take a full 4 damage.
Okay, I am going to aim for a 4 then, and I'm going to roll lore or.
In your case, I would say academics. Well, actually, you don't have academics, right?
I don't have academics.
Then you can roll lore, since it's probably more appropriate for you.
And this is to make the circle, right?
Yeah, to create the circle.
But if I'm a specialist, then I don't create the circle at all, or do I still need to do it?
No, so yeah, since you're a specialist, you don't need to create poison circles. You have them already pre-built on you, kind of like Roy Mustang and.
Right. Yeah. So what do I have to roll to actually make the poison then?
So you don't have to make it nothing. You just if you're gonna basically if you're just gonna set it to 4, you just roll the stat that you would use for this, and hope it hits a 4 or higher, and that'll be like your attack roll / your success for the alchemy itself, since you're going higher than your lore.
Okay, cool. So what skill do I use for throwing poison at people?
Since you're doing it for creative advantage, and we talked about it the other day, let's go ahead and use this as a
before you said deceive.
Provoke. Deceive or provoke. Either one could work for this.
Oh dang. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. Plus 3 plus 2 for my ability to do that is what's 3 is 8.
3 plus 2 is 3 plus 3 plus 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Shit. Yeah, you
almost
totally
aced.
nailed it.
I almost aced.
That's fantastic. So yeah, describe what it looks like as you rain liquid lye all over these creatures.
Well, there's a slight crack, and someone might think that was thunder, but it's actually the part of the towers breaking off, and then just this squirt of almost like a pinkish mist lands. And at first they're like, what the, oh god! And it starts screaming and flailing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. This is this horrible sound of screaming, flaming, and Soraka, you probably have to like take flight, and you can smell the.
I was gonna say, do I have to take move a zone, or do I have to take damage? What's going on?
No, you don't take any damage. It's rained downwards, you know.
Yeah, it was one quick spurt too, so it's done. Like you can go kill things now.
Yeah. So let me roll athletics to see how well. Oh, they did poorly.
Excellent.
Yeah. So they are all suffering from. Since you attacked 4 of them and you did 8, yeah, they're all going to be suffering from this condition for at least 2 rounds, unless they roll significantly. They would basically have to beat your roll of 8 to not be affected.
Put them together. Put all 4 of them together. Roll for just one of them making it.
I'm not gonna roll. I'm not gonna roll for each one of them. Fuck that. They either succeed as a group or die as a group.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that though, things change a little bit. because these guys are screaming and howling, and then all of a sudden you start hearing sounds from all over the ruins, the howls and like cat screeches and stuff like that. There's a lot more of these things out here, and they are now aware of your presence.
I didn't bring any gifts.
So why don't we just go take this in initiative order, giving it the highest to Soraka.
How many zones can I move as of current?
If you want to also take an action, you can only move one zone. But if you want to just sprint, just roll athletics, and you can move that number plus one.
I'm gonna just sprint as if I was startled, and continue running down. Which was I got a 5 in athletics.
Wow, you can move basically 6 zones. So you can if you're flying, you can basically jet off to anywhere in this area in the ruins.
Is there an upward hanging like buttress I could land on?
Oh yeah, it's probably near or above where the professor is.
I totally land there.
You just whoosh and
yeah, like I book it because I hear this noise behind me, and then I fly up and land on it as if a regular bird seeking safety.
Okay, and as you're seeking safety, Professor, reading through all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, like it gets very noisy, and you can hear things mobilizing, creatures mobilizing.
Right.
What is it? What are you thinking? What are you doing?
Oh, myself?
No. You did your turn.
No. It's So was there anything in the
ruins?
In the murals or anything that would have indicated what the actual thing looked like? So like how big the actual ruins were, like if there were like alcoves and different things where people might be coming from. So I mean, it's something like where he could go and say, like block off this exit over here, or
Actually, what you since you were reading it and you're so fluent in this language because you got an 8, you're looking for something like that. You do notice something interesting. Actually, the mosaic is out of order. It's kind of like those puzzles where it's like 9 pieces and it's missing one and you got to move it to make the picture.
Right.
It's exactly like that's what it's looking like to you right now.
If a stone man could actually turn his head to the side, kind of cock it.
Yeah, you didn't realize it at first because it's not like it's a mosaic a picture. It's a mosaic in its language. So unless you knew the language, you would never pick up that it's like a disoriented, moved version of it. But you see it now.
He is like puzzle. He's like the sounds are completely oblivious. He's like, so he's like he just moves a step closer. So I mean, it's not much of a distance change or anything that would alert anybody. But he's just. So there's this block of stone, and he might actually try to position himself so that the shadow of a pillar was like giving him some type of cover. But other than that, he's over there he's like trying to figure out the. It's like
around to try to get it perfect.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
He's like at first, it would have been like, oh, this was missing a piece, and then he's like, wait a minute, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, oh, it's like okay, pull this piece down and slide this over, and so there's this sounds of I don't know, is it pretty much like a stone, or is it more like
it feels like there's
big chunks of stone, or is it more like parts of the mosaic? They used mosaic tiles to make those symbols and stuff.
Yeah, it's like literally like mosaic tile pieces, and you're like, instead of sliding, you have to like pop them out and put them in like puzzle pieces. Do me a favor, roll academics, and we'll see how long this takes you.
All right, I'm at a 5 on academics.
Okay, fantastic. And you're just like messing with that right now. We'll get back to you in a minute. Ninja Alchemist Kiyoshi, what are you up to?
Well, now that everyone is doused in lye, I'm going to attempt to sprinkle a little aluminum flakes all over the place with some ranged alchemy. Because as we all know from chemistry, when you mix aluminum and lye, it creates a lot of heat and produces hydrogen gas, which is highly flammable. So you catch animals on fire when you do this.
Yeah. That's good to know that you're making good use of Google. Do it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
So for sure. What power level do you want to set this one at?
I'll probably set it at, well, this isn't poison, so I'm probably gonna set it at 3.
Okay. And the aspects that you have set on them, you can basically use that as a bonus if you want to make it even better. Since it's already affecting them, though, you'd have to spend a fate point to get a +2 bonus on your roll.
I am hoping that I will roll high enough and then be able to use the fact that they're covered in lye as a bonus on the damage.
Okay, yeah. Just as a forewarning, since you are doing damage, it's going to be lore or academics on your end.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing lore.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's a total of 2. And then my lore is 2, which is a 4. And if I spend a fate point to get the bonus that they're covered in lye, that brings it up to 6.
Yes, it does. So you spend that fate point, and this is a classic, like, perfect scenario for any chemist-based alchemist. It's like there's a perfect 1-2 punch. And these guys are just about ready to take their turn too.
All right, Alexander.
So you bump that up to all the way to a 6, and they rolled their athletics. Yeah, no. It seems like they're all trying to. They're not all just like rolling in one spot. They're like rolling out and trying to get away, and maybe trying to roll in the dirt to get this burning chemical off them. But then all of a sudden, basically, what does it rain? Aluminum flakes on them. Yeah. And,
yeah, that's
so it's basically
like silver sparkling.
Yeah,
little like flakes stuff.
Light sprinkle of aluminum flakes, and then all of a sudden, this white hot, just pillar of flame kind of erupts from that area. And it's just whoosh, and the screaming abruptly stops because basically you beat them by 3, and since the power level was 4, you did an additional 4 damage on top of that. But since they had I kind of added another 2 because they already had that aspect on them, so you did like 9 stress damage to that group. The smell is atrocious. It's just burning fur and flesh.
And hydrogen gas doesn't smell great either, I imagine.
Yeah, right. None of this smells good. But it is this blinding. Luckily, you know enough about chemistry to know that you shouldn't look at the fire. But it is this blinding bright light, like.
Professor's standing there, and the light goes way up, and he's like, huh? And then it goes out, and he's like, oh crap, what the hell?
Exactly. And with that, after the fire goes down, and you turn back to see what's left, so basically you get to see a sight that usually only the flame alchemist gets to look at. And you can see from out of some of the staircases that seem to be coming from the sides, more of these chimeras are coming out, all kinds of different creatures. And there's a lot of them. Did you want to move, or?
I think I want to stealthily get the hell away from here.
Okay. And what direction are you stealthing in? To your group or away from your group?
If I went to my group, would I have to be going towards where the enemies are? Like I don't know. I don't know the positioning of it all.
Okay, fair enough. You are. You would be based on where you're at. The creatures are coming from the north entrances, kind of like from a bunch of entrances into this center hallway. There's no roof, obviously. There might have been at one time, but not anymore. They're at the south part of that entrance, so maybe like 100 feet away from the oncoming chimeras. So you would still be moving away from.
Yeah, then I book it right to my buddies.
Okay, yeah, and you're within that distance. So one's perched, and this one, the professor's just messing around with the tiles on the wall. Yeah.
Click, 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 click. Click, click. Click, 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 click. It's like...
Yeah.
Professor, what the hell are you doing? Why are you playing with rocks?
He was totally oblivious to it all. It was like the only thing that caught his attention was that flash of light, and he was like Kyoshi. And he's going back. You playing with chemicals again, were you? It was like he's going around and putting stuff back in place and stuff. It's
like, if you die, I don't think I get paid as much. So what the? Okay, I'm just gonna like watch and see if he. Like right now, I'm a little bit leery. Like if I can protect him, I will. But if it looks like people are gonna start dying, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, so, and things are getting tight now by your call because these creatures, there's got to be at least a dozen of them coming right now, and they're formidable looking creatures, like part lions, part bears, jaguars, all kinds of predators types coming your way.
And the professor looks over at Kyoshi and is like, "You might want to clear yourself some space. Just find yourself some place to hide out of the way until you can figure out what to do." And he keeps going back to his puzzle and messing things and trying to.
And real quick, Soraka, what are you doing in this? You just you did witness everything that happened. So there was a pillar of fire that was somehow created by the ninja guy, and now at least a dozen chimera are coming your direction.
Well, I have to say, the fact they were talking to her and they talked about someone who could fix her has immediately granted her attention and is wholly distracted by this. So is there anyone else here besides Chimera that she can spot? Or
make a notice roll.
Good.
Please.
I got a 4.
Okay. So since you are up higher too, you're kind of looking, and things look kind of, normally they would look pretty fishy to you because there's a lot of predator types coming, and it's like, but as you're looking, it seems like the group is coming in and they're in attack mode. But after like kind of like a moment after, the chimeras have kind of like exited their cubby holes and kind of like formed up, you see an actual human kind of like walk out of one of these stairway cubby holes, and it's kind of like looking to see what's happening. He's an older gentleman, graying salt and pepper hair. He's kind of got like this worn out face, the face of a human that's seen a lot and is just tired. A little bit hunched, but not like humpback or anything like that.
How many zones away is he?
Oh, he's way at the other end. I would say he's definitely at least 6, something like that.
I roll athletics.
Do it. You're gonna bolt.
Holy shit! That was a +4 plus my 3. I got a 7 on the 5th.
Ooh, a 7.
I wanna know. Can you show me?
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, that is enough to get there. You won't be able to take actions, but I don't think you were planning on attacking him. So
No, she just kind of at the end there. She's just kind of chanting "fix, fix, fix," not really holding any action.
you're chanting fix.
Yeah, like she wants to know if she can be fixed.
Okay. Can you actually say that? Are we gonna?
I can't, but that's what she's hissing.
Oh, okay. So one thing, so and like completely oblivious to anything else, and you kind of like soared overhead of all the creatures, which some of them do seem to notice you, and you notice that Kiyoshi, that seems like Soraka has distracted quite a few of these chimera into turning around and being like, she's going, like, it's going for the professor. Save the professor. Yeah. So half the group is kind of heading back towards the professor, and the other half is still heading towards you.
Well, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Professor, you're still working on that. So
Right.
yeah. Don't worry, I'm still taking into account the roll that you got. So you're just going.
Click, click, ding, click,
Yeah.
click. And of course he's mumbling in the language too. He's like, okay, so this follows this, and
Mm-hmm.
and this, and wait, this comes before this.
So, did you want to do anything, Kiyoshi?
Yeah. I'm gonna try and the path I think they're gonna take. I'm gonna try and make some kind of trap that explodes into poison.
Okay. What kind of poison are we talking about here?
Oh.
Numbing poison, so that they won't be able to.
Okay, that's
They won't
very
be able
cool.
to feel their extremities as well, so they'll be fumbling.
Okay, let's do that. So yeah, are you going above lower again or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 4.
Big shot. So with this, you're creating an advantage.
It's got mocha in it.
But it's not distracting. So
we said poison would be deceive, so that's why I made deceive so high.
all right, fair enough. I'll stick to my word. Go ahead, roll deceive.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending a fate point because that was very bad. Very, very, very bad.
Spending a fate point on your high concept, and the ninja alchemist doesn't mess up poisons.
Yeah. I mean, I got 3 negatives and a 0, so
Yeah. No, reroll time.
reroll time. We'll see. That's better because that's a plus, and a minus, and a blank.
Okay, so +1.
So +1, and I'm just creating an advantage with deceive, so that's 2. Plus my deceive is 3, is 6.
Okay. All right. So 6 total. That is, let's see here.
I need to get some real fate dice because I keep going like, okay, 5 is plus.
They're pretty cheap. They're not that expensive compared
you get used
to
it after a while, just the conversions.
yeah. Oh wow. Okay. So what's that trap look like as it goes off? It's like they reach the ranged alchemy trap that you set for them.
It is literally there's a piece of stone got lifted up a little bit, and then there's just this sack completely full of poison about ready to burst, and when they step on the stone, it will push down the sack and it will explode.
All right, that's fantastic. So it's literally that, like this big gorilla type kind of like steps on it, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, like all these like mushroom spore like things like go into the air, and as they inhale it, some of them are starting to like go limp. You can see their back, and then just like some of them just flat out like drop. They're like they couldn't handle it. It looks like all but 2 of them are either rendered completely like paralyzed or like slowed to almost a complete halt. Two of them are just muscling through. It's a bull type and a gorilla type. They had high enough endurances to survive that, which is ridiculous. But still, it went from 6 to 2. With that, we go back around. The professor, the enemy professor, the one in a dirty lab coat is looking up at you, and he's just like, "Oh, this is not my work." And he's kind of like trying to pay attention to what you're saying, like repeating. Actually rolled okay. And he's like, he kind of like motions for you to come down. Like he's like making body language of like, I won't hurt you. Like, can you understand me? Are you?
Is it my turn?
Yes, Soraka, it is your turn.
Yeah, she totally lands in front of him and like goes completely flat, which is non-threatening to him.
Mm-hmm. He's like, okay. You understand English?
She nods.
Oh, okay. And like he kind of looks over your shoulder because he can see like a horde of these guys coming at him. He's like, and he just like puts his hand out. He's like, hold on. Oh, she needs help. And they're just like, they're intruders. And it's like, stop those intruders. This person needs help. So yeah, you managed to correctly hit upon his trouble aspect without realizing it. So he is kind of like abandoned what's happening over there, seeing as you haven't really done anything. And he kind of like he looks at you and he's kind of like puts his hand out like, can I touch you?
She nods her head.
All
like
right.
she is completely flat to like anything. Like she's completely like head down, completely down.
Okay. And he kind of does like this makeshift like quick examination to see what's like your physiology and see what kind of, and he's just muttering, he's like, this is just terrible. This is terrible what they did to you. They couldn't even figure out how to combine a bird with a human. You poor creature. And he's just like, he's doing this, and this is gonna take this turn, and something will happen next turn. So we'll get back to that. If you're gonna acquiesce to physical examination.
Oh, hell yeah! If you can help, I am on this. Sorry, guys.
So
I'm just enjoying watching Alex just pound away at these guys.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Doing my best.
He's keeping him at bay, but now there's more backup coming, so shit's getting it real. But on that note, Soraka's turn is over, and it is now the professor's turn. And professor, it is the third turn, and you're just clacking away, and you're just kind of stumped for a second because you're reading the sentence, and it's like it's forming. And you're just like, where is this last? And you like kind of finally find it. It's just a piece that you almost stepped on it. It's a piece that's fallen off over the years, and it's just like, oh, this is like, it's got this one little like ending, like this one syllable at the end, and you just
really.
And and with that, everything kind of like shifts. There's like this big rumble throughout this whole area. It's like whoosh, whoosh. It's kind of like that first opening when air starts coming in, and there's just like pillars of like dust and dirt just start billowing out.
Right.
And so everything. So this whole zone. That includes you, Kiyoshi, covered in basically this dust cloud. So you guys can't see out of it, and people can't see into it. And that'll take a moment to get clear. But you, Professor, clearly saw that this big ass gate just opened up. So there's something on the other side.
And he curses under his breath. He's like, it would have to be over there. It's like
well, it's not on the other side. It's directly in front of you. I'm sorry. So that
okay,
mosaic that you were working on just like kind of like separates and like, you know, from some old ancient mechanisms that haven't been ruined yet.
Right.
Luckily.
And I'm so can the professor see Kiyoshi, or I mean between his
visually? No. Since Kiyoshi, well, actually, how close were you, Kiyoshi? Were you right up to him, or did you take a couple steps away?
I mean, I'm probably if I tried to reach out and punch him, I wouldn't be able to. But if I took like 2 steps over, I could hit him.
Then you guys can see each other's outline. You know, like kind of like when it's dense fog, you could see like 5-10 feet away tops. And you could hear all the creatures. They're like, "What's happening? What was that? Was that another one of those poison attacks? Try not to breathe it. Try not to breathe it."
And the professor actually like rubs. So with the dirt and everything that's on him, he rubs his hand like he's trying to brush it off, and he's trying to get Kiyoshi's attention. And he literally, like, the professor literally like steps into that opening, and he basically waits to see if Kiyoshi follows him in.
Mm-hmm. Kiyoshi, do you?
Yes.
Nice. I love it when people have to roll to make decisions. No, I actually do. I love it. So yeah.
So
you two kind of like, you guys kind of go into this, and it's pitch dark down here. I mean, there's some light coming in, but like I said, the sun is setting. But actually, you guys notice as you guys are going in, the sun actually kind of the way this temple is designed. It's the long hallway that basically these guys have been running at you guys from lines up perfectly with the arc of the sun. So it's setting, and so the light from the setting sun is going directly towards you guys. So you can see into the entrance a bit, but further in, you can tell it's unlit.
Right.
But so, you guys, yeah, go on.
The professor would actually, Takara would be like trying to figure out if there's a way to seal the door from inside the hallway. So he's basically got his hands up trying to.
Okay. So you're
feel a way to.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll investigate, and we'll get to that on your next turn. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. And so that was full round. Unless you wanted to do something extra, Kiyoshi. But so far, you think you're relatively safe from those creatures because you gained some distance. But
well, I am considering that there is smoke already there, but if I throw a smoke bomb on top of that, that should just be no sight, nothing going on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hopefully to the point that they might not necessarily even notice that there is a doorway.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Do a quick just deceive roll.
A quick deceive roll.
Yeah.
That means you only roll 1 die.
That's a net 0, so 3.
Okay. 3
Unless this is an advantage. If I'm creating an advantage, then it's a 5.
Okay. Yeah, it is creating an advantage. What you do, you successfully basically stack on top of this thing, meaning that if any of these guys want to find this door, they need to beat a 5 on their notice check and get within that distance. So it is that 5-foot distance that you could see before, nothing. You wouldn't be able to see your hand in that space right now. Which means that any sunlight that was coming into this place has also been snuffed out because of this giant plume of black smoke and dust.
So how long will your smoke thing last? So professor's trying to figure out whether or not closing the door is actually going to make a difference now. So
it will last however long.
Based on your roll, it'll last 2 turns because that's what your lore is.
2 turns. Right? Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and finish closing the door then. All right, no worries. I was just double checking. I didn't. Okay. I figured through the motion that Kiyoshi took, he was probably adding some type of complication to the current environment.
Yeah, you would have seen the sparkling, like the lightning arcs from the alchemy, and then just plumes of smoke covering everything. So, with that, we roll back around to the professor and Soraka.
Soraka. She's hot.
Yeah.
So nice. So Soraka, you are there being physically examined. Nothing super weird, but he's just kind of like touching your throat and stuff like that, and he's just kind of like how a mechanic would comment on someone's shoddy work. And he's like, I can't do much about your body. That's already been permanently manipulated, but I can fix the damage that's a byproduct of it. And he's like, if you're okay with it. And he's waiting for some kind of physical sign of consent.
Help me!
I don't know. She has her trouble. She hasn't said anything in so long. Because that's kind of scary. But then yet, she still wants to be able to talk.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And so she shakes her head, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a major turning point for your character. It's a very hard decision because as he goes in, he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out this small red gem-like stone, and he still needs to do that, doesn't he? And he just kind of he bites his thumb. And he makes makes a little transmutation circle right there, on your neck, the afflicted area. And so holding it, and he just puts his hand on your neck, and this bright crimson light fills the area. And you can feel weird things happening, and your stuff is moving. And for a second, you're like, I can't breathe. I can't take a breath right now. And then all of a sudden you start hearing snap, 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 snap as vocal cords are reconnecting. And after what seems like an infinity of not being able to take a breath, you're like, and when you take that inhale, you could feel a reverberation in your throat. Yeah. What do you do? The professor's just looking at you, kind of wide eyes, that's all I can do.
Actually, because the thing is, it's almost like teaching a toddler how to talk, because she's never done it before. So she wouldn't be able to talk very well, but she knows what she's saying, but she can't talk. So what she can do is she can hug him. She'd make babbling noises because she can't say anything, but she would with her rings. Oh my god, she owes this bro. You guys are in trouble. Yep, this is awesome because she's been wanting to talk for goddamn how knows how long, and now she owes a bro.
All right.
So this will be fun.
Yeah, the professor.
Rate that.
The professor's just he can hear your babbling. He's like, okay, marked improvement. That's fantastic. And he's just like, okay. And he looks up at the big dust cloud and all these things happening over there. And, okay. Now I know you're probably going to have a hard time, but I need you to try to tell me what you're doing here.
We've been sold out, dang it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You weren't very nice to her, you horrible people. All you did was tell her, no, Soraka, you can't have anything, Soraka. What's wrong with you, Soraka? Why
We
can't
never
you be
said
normal?
any of those things.
Yeah, you were. You didn't support her. You didn't do anything. You were all like, stop.
Talk to the hand.
Cake at me. You threw
Talk to the
cake
hand.
at me.
I did throw cake at you, but I'm pretty sure I never said stop except eating me.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Yeah, that was-
sedated her. You direct sedated her. She does not appreciate that.
For his safety, it was probably better that you were sedated.
Probably.
Yeah.
And probably glad you were a rock person because she'd have eaten you by now.
So, Melissa, Soraka, why don't you give me? This is
Need to
probably
make a loyalty roll.
no. This is probably directly academics to try to work these vocal cords because you have a firm understanding of the English language. You just haven't made these sounds
Spoken.
yet. Yeah. So it's not like you're trying to learn English. You're just trying to learn how to use these vocal cords.
I got a 0.
Okay, it's gonna take a minute. So yeah, if you are willing to talk, you're just kind of like slowly, like forming words, like
I-O, bro. I just switched it to I-O, bro.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a minute before that happens. He's actually going to say, yeah, the professor's kind of like shouting out, everyone, stop, come back, pull back, just pull back. And everyone's just kind of like, they're kind of pulled back a little bit just outside the smoke, and they're just waiting, kind of like looking. It's like, what's happening? And he's just like, hold on, let's stop the violence. Let's talk. A lot of people have died.
Can we hear this?
You should be able to. He is yelling. He's yelling for sure. How are you two reacting to that?
Well, okay. Another important question. Do I have any indication whatsoever that he fixed her vocal cords?
From this distance, no. You wouldn't have even seen the crimson light. All you can hear is a human voice from the other end telling everyone to stop.
So yeah, I didn't hear him talking to her. I didn't hear her babbling.
No,
nothing.
that was normal. That was normal volume. That was way too far away.
Then I'm going to assume, my character's going to assume that the reason why they're doing that is because he is surrendering.
Okay. That's a fair assumption.
So I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm going to wait for him to yell,
Okay.
ask what my terms are or something, or see what Blockhead over here is doing.
All right. What are you doing, Blockhead?
It's stony. What are you talking about? What are you doing, Blockhead? That means it's unshaped stone. I'm no. Just noticing that he, Kiyoshi's still standing there, paying attention to whatever's going on. The professor will actually begin working his way slowly down into the his curiosity's peaked. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, we're talking about some old stuff down here.
Yeah,
what are we rolling?
Roll investigate, and I'm gonna assume.
Did you want to take the roll from previously?
No,
or you want me to do it again?
This is a new one.
Okay.
And, I'm gonna assume that you have some kind of light source since you are an archaeologist.
Yeah.
He's got glow sticks.
Glow sticks.
I borrowed the Chem Alchemist his glow sticks, over that.
You could just make
Anyway, so I have a 4 again
Okay.
on my investigate. Well, not again, but yeah, 4 for the investigate.
4 this time.
Mhm.
Okay. And yeah, you see signs of use and but not recent. Kind of like you see untouched, basically untouched by time, art and on these walls of basically of the whole ritual that's supposed to be happening right now. What you're assuming is what's supposed to be happening right now. You got like this glow stick, and you see like people with baskets, like walking and like and then like going down the steps and doing like this ritual little thing, and you're moving down. You see more and more of the ritual, and it's a little ways. So we're gonna roll back around.
Okay.
Chimeras are yelling, "Why did we stop? They killed our man." And he's kind of talking to them. Hold on, be quiet. I need to hear. And he's kind of like trying to get words out of you, Soraka. Give me another academics.
Okay. Oh, that's 1.
Okay, that's a step higher, which means you're making progress. So yeah, you managed to get actual words out this time, but kind of like stilted. What would be the first things you're trying to convey to him?
How many words do I get?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say 5 good words.
Sent here, state alchemist warning.
Sent here, state alchemist warning. I'm sure there was other garbled words in between there. Sent here, state alchemist. Okay, state alchemist. And he looks around. It's like, okay, all right. But he sees like, but he's not doing anything anymore. And you can just hear him kind of like shout out, "State alchemist. Can you hear me?"
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Who's your daddy? Oh, man.
My name is Professor Steiner. I used to work for the government. I want a ceasefire. Can we parlay?
We aren't pirates.
Why do you suddenly want to parlay?
One of the people that came with you, this young chimera, she needed help, and I helped fix her voice, and she's trying to communicate with me that you're on a mission from the government, I'm assuming, since you're a state alchemist, and that can't be good for us. So I would like to renegotiate.
I don't really believe you. Have her say something, then I'll believe you.
Oh, that's going to be an issue.
She says something, I won't even know if it's her.
Yeah. How would you know it's her voice?
That's just hilarious. That's so awesome, though. He's like, "You're full of crap."
Yeah. He doesn't pick up on that, though. He's just
okay.
He's like scratching his head. He's like, "Oh my."
Ask her what my name is, and then tell me my name.
He looks over. To you, Soraka. Do you think you could tell me his name?
Do I have to roll academics to say it, or?
Yeah. You can either roll or just do a fate point.
This is awesome.
Okay, I owe a bro, so I will spend a fate point on this.
So she hasn't completely abandoned you. All right. So what do you say?
I say Kiyoshi, and I don't actually know the professor's name. And I'm like, and the stone professor.
Okay. He kind of turns around because she can't yell yet. She doesn't have that kind of control over her voice. So he's like, Kiyoshi and the stone professor is what she's telling me.
Okay, I believe you now. What do you
It's like,
want to negotiate exactly?
Let's first thing, ceasefire. That would be fantastic.
Sure, I'll stop blowing you up. I mean, I have 5 things set to detonate right now, but I'll just not detonate them.
All right, Usopp.
And the stone professor just shaking his head. He's like, only 5? He seems to be under.
And Steiner's like, okay, guys, back up. He's got things that can blow it. Back up. Okay. And there's still like this big cloud. It's just hanging there because you set it there. What were you sent here to do?
Figure out why people were being murdered in that town over there.
And at that, everyone's kind of talking at once. Like, it's like, we didn't murder anyone. Blah, blah, blah. They shot at us. And he's like, and then like, there's kind of like this general dissent. You're assuming that the professor kind of like told everyone to hush up. And it's like, that's just their side of the story. I mean, we did go down there. Some of my people did go down there to steal food and other supplies, but we weren't trying to kill anybody.
You're just thieves, not murderers. My bad. We'll just leave you alone now.
I mean, yeah, we're not going to make any excuses. We can't farm. We can't trade. We kind of have to steal sometimes. And but I don't think that deserves a death sentence.
Well, I suppose I'm only paid to figure out what's going on, not necessarily to kill any of you.
And,
although he does have a tally going right now, he's what?
I was gonna say some of the guys are like, "You killed Bjorn. You've already killed 4 of us."
I'm gonna actually step. If the door did not close, I'm gonna step out and jump on top of the thing so they can see me. I'm like, well, sorry about that.
As you step out, there's actually like they kind of all take like a step back because they now know that you're a state alchemist, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like they all heard about what happened in Ishval. Like, okay, and let's take a cut from this conversation to the professor. As you descend deeper, you can't hear any of the conversation that's happening outside anymore. You've gone down well over 100 feet at this like angle, right? And it seems like people were supposed to come in mass with their offerings, and like you see doing this ritual this whole time. And as they got, and it's like, and you can see as they get closer, people basically there are people like checking the offerings, and if offerings don't add up, their offerings are kind of like thrown aside, and then like they're taken. And you see that as you get to like the angle stops and like levels out, and you like hold up the glow stick, and you can start seeing this kind of like mini, what is that called? It's not a dais, altar.
Okay.
With the like over this pit, just like there's like this altar, and then immediately this big 20 by 20 pit that you don't immediately look down onto. I'm assuming you're going to go directly to the altar where there's more art, and you can see stains on the top of this altar, brownish, dark brownish stains, and you can see on there is basically 2 sides. There's the left side that's like has a basket full of offerings, shiny, because you can see the reflection. It seems like plated gold, and then like it's being pushed over into the pit. And then the other half of the altar is a body laid on there, knife in the body, and then it being pushed off. So what do you do from there? It seems like a big empty. Aside from that, it seems like a big room that you can't see the extent of because your glow stick doesn't reach that far.
Right. You find any other materials or anything on the ground?
You probably in the immediate area you'd see most things. You know that most of the dust and like dirt in here is, considering this is all work stone, is like rotted away organic material like wheat and stuff like that.
Right.
So maybe like bad offerings that just got dumped on the floor. And maybe you could see the slight glint of rusted metal, like sickles and like ancient bronze knives, that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. So he actually is and part of his gear, he has a series of candles and these like circular mirrors around the pit, and placing these around the pit so that he can see what's in the pit, and then of course whatever glow comes off of them he can see on the floor and whatnot. But I mean, he's more interested to see what's in the deep end.
Okay. And that's exactly as you like set that up and you peer into the pit, you can see the pit goes down a little ways, maybe 40, 50 feet. Probably a natural hole at one point that was used for this ritual. And mostly you see lots of skeletons, but they seem to be on a bed of like basically gold, silver, like items. Yeah, it is quite a bit of treasure, as your only word for it.
Okay. Is there another exit from this room, or is just that stairwell come in and then this room and then that's it?
Yes, yeah. This was it seems like this was a hidden location, and it was like there was no other exit. Probably for good reason, since part of the sacrifice involved humans.
Right. So he
yeah. And I'll let you
he'll go and actually put out the candles, recollect everything except one candle, because he figures the glow stick's probably in between, on light source. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to last, but he'll take the candle and find his way back to the stairs going up, and he'll work that's where he'll be going. He'll be going back up, and he'll basically extinguish the light and everything as he gets further up the stairs.
Okay. And that's what you're doing. So we move back to you guys and this big conversation. So yeah, it's just a big misunderstanding. My people were stealing, but we did not attack. We were attacked first, and unfortunately, some of their natural defense mechanisms are deadly.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty bad.
There was no ill intent. We're just everyone here is just someone who was either terminally ill or left to die in destitution, who I found and tried to help with my alchemy, and now we're just trying to make a life. We're trying to make a town for ourselves.
Okay, well, long-term plan here. You can't just steal from people ever. How are you going to get food in the future?
Well, he's like, can we stop yelling at it? Can we get closer?
How about this? I promise you, on my word as a state alchemist, I will not attack you if you don't attack me first, and you can come here and I'll talk to you.
Yeah, no, he's totally about that. He's like, okay, yeah. As like some of the chimeras are voicing their opposing opinions, but he's like, it's fine, it's fine. I think he's
okay. Hold on, just 1 second. Let me disable all those traps. And I don't do anything because there weren't any traps.
Yeah, and he can see that now. He's like, okay, you didn't have any traps. There was no alchemy done there. And he walks up to you, and he's now that the smoke is cleared, he can see. It's like, what happened to the wall?
I literally have no idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he just starts going like, oh my gosh, you guys found it. I mean, I was about to tell you that the reason that we're here in these ruins, our long-term plan, is it was a long shot. We heard about what this religion was based on and what they offered, and we thought if we found the gold, we could establish ourselves as a real city, to trade with gold.
And like get the requisite materials to make a farm out here. Like, can you farm out here?
I mean, with enough funds, we can get to. I mean, we were going to figure that part when we got to it. We just been here for we've been here for months and we haven't found any gold. We were getting desperate, ran out of food sources, hence the stealing. But you guys, I think this is it. And like at this point, you're probably coming out of this this chamber, Professor.
He comes out and he presses this panel on the wall. It's like something he saw earlier. He presses the panel on the wall, and as he does so, he he hits the wall with his hand and knocks all the mosaic tiles off the wall. It's like he comes out and he's like, "It's best to leave the dead dead."
And as like the door is closing, he's like, "What'd you find there?"
Lots of dead. He's like, if you're into sifting through bones and stuff, that's what we got down there. There's lots of bones.
And he's like, there was no gold?
Please hold on. Is the door currently closing?
Yeah, at this point, since he knocked the mosaic off, the door is doing.
Well, I would have knocked the mosaic. I pressed the button on the inside of the entryway as he was stepping through the doorway.
Yeah. So
and as soon as the door's closed, and
yeah, you're still past. I'm not saying you're trapped. I'm saying, but yeah, the door is closing. So
I'm gonna definitely try and quickly prevent the door from closing.
Okay. How's
Probably with alchemy.
Okay. So general alchemy, sure.
I mean, I feel for these dudes, They're just trying to make a life, and there probably is gold down there, and this fucking hippie professor.
Dude, bro. You see me completely rip the stitches out of 4 of my arms and drop them for you. Like, I'm so willing to keep this door open. I just lost arms for you. When you start talking about alchemy and keeping the door open. Because I owe a dude, bro.
Yeah, dude, bro. I'm keeping this door open because I feel like shit. I just killed a bunch of innocent dudes. I mean, it wasn't my fault.
Everybody does it. Where's the lack of responsibility here?
All right, sure thing. So, you're doing it with alchemy. So you give me just a lore roll, or definitely it's got to be a lore roll on your end.
Do my arms add any help?
Like what exactly are you doing? Like, are you adding material, or are you literally trying to keep the mosaic open, the door open?
I'm giving him material, which is my arms, to keep the door open.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
literally, I unstitch them and drop them next to him.
Jesus.
I'm like, use.
Jesus, ripped off your own arms. Yeah. And you said you
They're
got a
only there by
rope.
threads, literally.
Yeah, and that's definitely enough to add a bonus for human material. So
She's now bleeding from those spots, but she can handle that probably.
yeah, and
Four.
yeah, and you could add a +2 to that for
Six.
yeah, 6 total. So describe to me what effect it looks like when you do to keep this door from sliding down all the way.
I imagine the doors opened like this before, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
So
Sure.
they're starting to open, and as they start open, just spikes shoot down and are completely in the thing's way.
Nice.
So now it looks like it's like this. So it's a little bit harder to get in and out. But there's these like spikes that are made mostly out of rock, but now partially out of bone as well.
Nice.
That are like physically in the way, so the doors cannot close.
All right, and that's exactly you could hear gears starting to, and then like the snap, and like you could hear like this long, like this like kind of like quiet, and then like a weight hitting the ground somewhere deep beneath your feet. So whatever ancient mechanisms were working, you stopping them basically ruined it.
Good.
And yeah. So Sirach is bleeding.
Do I have to roll versus bleed out? Technically.
No, but you will suffer. Basically, you're gonna have a severe consequence.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're missing a couple arms, but they're not like your main limbs. So yeah, let's go sacrifice limbs.
Okay.
So, yeah, the ninja alchemist stopped the doors from closing with some help. Did you say anything to the professor about about trying to close the door, or?
I'm gonna say I have no qualms about sifting through bones to try and find money that will prevent a people from being genocided, which is their only alternative if they can't start their own civilization. They will not win against, the united forces of everyone else in the world. Nobody likes these people. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the professor kind of comes up near you and he's like, "Thank you so much," and he kind of looks at you, professor, and he's like, "Thank you for finding it. I know that you had your reasons for trying to seal it, but if you could just find it in your heart to let us do this, you'd be doing our people a great service."
And at this point, the professor has no clue what he's talking about. He has been completely oblivious to everything that's been going on.
That's true. You entered completely blind.
Right. So he pops off his more stone than flesh, and he basically, and then he uses his ability for academics, where he can use his academics for one of his other abilities, and he literally kicks out the spikes that were holding the doors, and reaches in with his hands and actually pulls the door shut, and then he proceeds to start like collapsing the entryway with his fist. Just starts pounding into the walls and stuff.
Jeez. All right.
Did you just break the door?
Yeah. Yeah. He's grabbing the fate point so he could tear the door down.
Okay.
Yeah. And in a move probably fueled a little bit by the fact that he missed all the vital information. The professor, being a nigh unstoppable Goliath of stone, did manage to bring down the doors.
Okay.
So now people can't go in there again. Perfect. I assume this is regular stone, though, right?
Yeah. It's all just worked stone.
So when there's no more guy made out of stone in the way, I could just remove all the rubble with alchemy.
That is a thought that enters your mind. Yes.
All right, I look defeated and I say, well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, as a fellow alchemist, you know there's nothing we can do, right?
And the professor kind of looks at you like, you're right. We should all just begin to pack up now.
Well, I'll help you pack. I should probably go back and let them know it was a bunch of, I'm gonna go ahead and say it was a bunch. It was like a loose. God, I don't know. On the way home, I'll figure out someone else to blame.
Well, then.
I will say it was them and give you time to run away.
And he's looking at the other chimeras. He's like, gather your families. Yeah, we have to leave now. We can't stay here.
And he is aware that I'm bullshitting. I'm really just trying to get the professor to leave.
You and the professor are on the same page.
Okay, good.
Being alchemists and stuff. He's like, yeah. The chimeras are not, but they listen to the professor. So they look defeated. They're just. So yeah, what are you three doing then?
I'm waiting for more information. Apparently, there was something that I missed. So he's basically standing in front of the collapsed doorway. It's like I can wait here all night, all day too. I can wait. So I get the information.
We're going back because you don't want the chimeras to get the gold so they can be a free people. You want them to continue to live in exile and torment. So we're just going to go back and report to the government. Because I understand your moral issue. Chimeras just, they're just different than us. Kind of like how...
I don't have any issues with the chimera.
Oh, then why did you prevent them from getting the gold that they need?
Oh, no,
Because nobody bothered to tell me anything. For science.
Yeah, the professor told you that he needed it.
I didn't find out about that until I got back up here. And then you guys decided that you wanted to jump down on it, so I'm...
Yeah, when you got up here, I explained that they should take the gold to build a society, and then immediately after that, you decided, nah, I'm going to tear the whole place down. So I give up. You win. Let's go back.
Raka takes her wing, lightly smacks you in the face, and goes, "You're dumb," and walks past him.
The two words that she can say perfectly right now.
You're dumb.
Hey, remember, Kiyoshi, I hired you for the job. That doesn't mean that I don't know about your capabilities. So given enough time, yeah, I'm pretty sure you could figure a way back in there.
Absolutely not. Could not. At this point, he doesn't trust you at all. He does not completely understand why you did what you did, and he assumes that you are like, it belongs in a museum, being this place.
All right. And with that, it seems like there's this shaky, unspoken agreement of what's about to happen afterwards. So with that, you guys will go back to report. At one point, I'm assuming that Kiyoshi might break away from the group to come back.
I'm dead. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she died. The whatever I make up that killed the other people got her.
No, I died in mighty battle, and their poison quills totally took me down.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that's what it was. And I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna try and get to talk to, what was it, Colonel?
Oh,
Lieutenant?
Captain Bauer?
Captain.
I'm going to try and get some alone time to him to explain to him what happened. And I'm a state alchemist, so I've got more authority than you. And this is what's going to happen. It was an accident.
You can go back all you want. Professor's not leaving.
You're literally just going to stand in front of the temple?
Yep. This is like the capstone of my my degrees and everything is right here.
And you want it to stay buried so no one ever sees it?
Well, there's very few people who'd understand it the way I do, so.
So who are you preserving it for then?
For me, while I get the research done, there's other things down there that other than gold that need to be documented and researched.
Question. Could Kiyoshi unalchemy-ish the door?
I absolutely could. I could turn all of that rock into sand if I wanted to. It would take me a while, but I could do it.
With you guys talking, the professor's coming back now. So he sees that you guys are still here. And he kind of comes up to you guys. Is there nothing that I could say to change your mind about letting us have access to that tunnel?
I think we all had our own reasons for being here.
Right, money. I'm going to get paid already.
So
I would personally prefer it if you unburied this place and let them, if you don't care about the gold and it's everything else, then let them take the gold and leave everything else.
well, the gold is part of. It's not money that's down there. There's artifacts and idols and other things that are all related to this temple.
Mm.
You would let mankind die?
And the professor kind of like pats you on the back, Soraka. He's like, just kind of like, it's like, yeah, that's a good point, but hold on. Let's try to reason with the stone.
I know this look in his eye. His unassuming, unexisting eye.
And he kind of goes up and he kind of notices for the first time. He's like, you're kind of like a living statue. He's like, oh, well, we have no interest in the relics. We just need funds. We don't need to sell off any relics. If there's gold coin down there, we can use that. I have no interest in destroying any of the artwork or mosaics.
And well, it's not the artwork and the mosaics. It's like I said, the stuff that's down there is all based on the gold that you're talking about. It's in an artistic form, not.
Oh, the gold currency from that time period.
Yeah. Man, I don't have a problem with you having it after I get done documenting it. But
okay, well then let's work together with that. You can, every time you document one piece, we get it. We'll even help you. We'll even help you. I'm looking for cooperation here, just so I can get something to feed these people that I helped.
Well, it sounds to me like you're missing tools and equipment, and those are kind of things that I could help you actually make and show people how to build.
Okay.
Agriculturally, all you need is seeds and stuff. I mean, if you guys are looking to, what else? I mean, outside of what are you gonna do when the gold runs out?
Well, at that point, we would be established, as a city. We need the gold so that we can build infrastructure. Uh,
I understand that. I just
establish fair trade with other cities.
And you also have a problem though, that once you start exchanging in the currency or whatever is available down there, you're going to be drawing additional attention to yourself, and if you don't have a means to keep yourself protected, you'll end up losing everything you end up getting out of it. And there will be people worse than myself, who would literally come and say that this stuff belongs in a museum and would use whatever force and means to take it from you. So I understand where you're at. I understand what you're trying to accomplish. I just said that you got a little more trouble on your hands than what you're thinking.
Well, they can't put it in a museum if the artifacts turn into liquid gold. I'll make them cease being golden artifacts once you're done documenting them and turn them into golden coins. Then no one will want them except for the fact that they're gold.
Yeah, but gold just doesn't show up from anywhere.
Yeah, and we will be careful about that. We can make it. Like gold goes for a while. We can stretch it out, and we can use it in quantities that wouldn't be startling to the powers that be. We just need the opportunity.
Well, the problem is that this and he's like this. The people that worshipped at this temple had a very unique way of producing their gold. It takes a great deal of effort to undo that kind of production. And when that stuff starts circulating, people start asking questions. I understand that alchemy can do a lot of things, but trust me, it's a pretty extensive process to try to undo the pure nature of the gold.
Professor to Stone Professor, he's never going to let this go unless we find a way in there, and he will kill us if we try to go for it. We're literally arguing with a man made of stone. His heart is stone. Leave him be, and let's just go find another way.
And he looks over to you. Well, all right. Suppose we can do this a second time. And this will be the first time for you. Would you like to come with us then?
And she's like, absolutely.
All right then. Well, I'm sorry that it didn't go the way I had hoped. I hope it goes the way you hope. Please, at the very least, don't tell them that we were here or where we're going. That would be a great help.
I don't have any reason to convey anything else. The rumors that were spreading in the towns over are some horrid things that come out in the night. There's no reason to convey anything further than that.
Well, and the fact of the matter is nobody will really know what happened, because it's not like your existence is something the government's trying to let get out.
No, the government has no interest in this one.
All right. Fantastic. Well, then, I wish you the best of luck in your travels. And hopefully we have some luck too. And, and he goes back to the basically the little cubbies. At this point, you see like chimeras starting to come out with like small packed bags. You see little you've only seen male ones, and like now you see some female chimeras and actual like chimera children. It seems like they had families that were just like hiding to avoid the conflict, and they kind of do their little exodus out of here.
Oh man. I am low-key trying to convince myself that I have a reason not to PvP.
And you know what? That's something that can be handled in kind of like internal epilogue afterwards, because I think that's a nice scene to end off with, just like all these, well, maybe not nice, but kind of like a sad, sorrowful scene. See all these Chimera family kind of like walking out into the wilds to try to make a new home for themselves. As
I can kidnap cows.
yeah, exactly. And with that, we will close this evening with the danger abated, and the future of these chimeras up in the air. So yeah, anyone who was watching, thanks for sticking around with us this long. And again, I'm Samuel Torna. I'm 1/3 of Three Gorillas, and this is the second installment of my Anime Fate series, which I enjoyed quite thoroughly. I think it went off really well. So keep watching my channel if you want to see different anime transferred into Fate games. So yeah, you guys go ahead and sign off and plug anything you want to plug. Go in the same order that we signed in on. So Nate, you're up first.
All right. Yeah, I'm Nathan Tice. You find me as a Sergeant 86 Delta. And yeah, look me up on Facebook, and I have a blog there and a page that I keep up to date. So yeah, thanks Sam for letting me crash your party.
So yeah, Melissa or Alex, either one of you.
My name is Melissa, and I love playing games. Peace.
My name's Alexander, and I also love playing games. Also, I have a channel, and it has exactly one game on it. But I'm going to be running a campaign soon, so I don't even know what the name of my channel is, but you should find it on your own and watch it.
And that's fantastic. And I'm sure once you actually have the campaign started, you'll post it on AppTab so we can all see.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, thanks again, guys, for coming to my game, hanging out, and playing. I really appreciate it. So everyone who's watching, have a nice night. How do I?